better leave it to the professionals.
Blessed by Bundy, blah, blah, blah.
Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been goated when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Call her Era Lord. Call me Levi, playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock, and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck is the
Started off with a
blockchain.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like the Brown James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. Reviews not falling for the FOMO. Listening to coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum entities. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I got a shout out
Started
to
off with a
Bode.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Breaking the mood to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in shoes. Yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, mighty, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. Had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. Had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the drive with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin, where we dive into all things crypto, NFTs, Web3, and cutting-edge technology. Remember, nothing here is financial advice. Early-stage tech can be exceptionally volatile and risky. So grab your coffee and join Cap and Steve for today's.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain. GM, thanks so much for joining us. If you haven't already done so, do us a favor, drop us a GM in the chat down below. Then head up top, smash that like, repost, and bookmark on today's space. We greatly appreciate it. Warms up the algo, lets everyone know we're here, and does us a solid. You'll also find the YouTube chat, the abstract chat, and the X video chat pinned up top as well. Actually, the YouTube chat is not pinned up there, but we got a request for the intro track. That is actually Bruce Wayne and Bundy, Knowledge, and a few others. It was 4 or 5 individuals that were big in the GOATS community back in 2021. And it was one of those like smaller but vibrant communities, still thriving. Actually, Steve, I'm playing in a poker tournament this weekend, powering right through the intro into the cold opening here. I will get back and ask for one more round of those likes, reposts, bookmarks. As always, I'm captured by my co-host Steve. Never any financial advice in the show. Crypto is risky, NFTs are risky, meme coins exceptionally risky. Go to 0 to moment's notice, especially those over on the new launchpad Boop, which we'll be talking about here this morning, I'm sure. But please never put any money in you can't afford to lose. Know that Steve and I also hold tokens we talk about from time to time here in the show. And we're not financial advisors, certainly not your financial advisor. So just join us for some fun, some information, and some education along the way. GM, Steve, how you doing, sir?
GM, doing well. Doing well. Give us a like or retweet a comment on the room. GM, Teacher Katie over in the abstract chat. Be Epic, Mesh, Diablito, Thomas, Machiavelli, Von Frunten, everybody out here in the YouTube side of things, Diablito, Big Bear, Machiavelli, Jonathan Long, as we got you the track over there, Von Frunten, as always, across all chats, Hizzy, Jacobo, good to see you out there as well. By the way, anybody awaiting their cards, I'm going to try to get them out today. Just been a busy few days in the personal life. Some stuff I haven't talked about on air that's going on behind the scenes.
Oh, from BZ.
Yeah, got to get the BZ stuff out. But yeah, some stuff going on behind the scenes. Nothing terrible, but not great, with some emergency room visits with some family members. All good, but like some things that have kept us a little bit crazy on top of the kids' normal week. Haven't really talked about that happened late last week. Some surgery things going on. So been a little busy. So bear with me on it.
Unrelated, but related. Did you hear about Hunter Renfrow?
He got signed by the Panthers?
Yeah, but did you hear why he missed the, like, no one really talked about it. He didn't play at all last year. Do you know why?
No.
He had some severe colitis and lost like 30 pounds. He was down to like 150 pounds. Like, it zapped him. And so, yeah, just knowing, I'm sure probably different, but you probably find his story and I'm trying to think. I'm drawing a blank on where I recently heard an interview, but it's good. And you probably appreciate hearing the journey he went through to get back into playing shape after being thrown a curveball. Yeah,
Renfrow is I think John Gruden's favorite like guy in like the NFL. Like, he loves Hunter Renfrow. Like, John Gruden, who like loves like those workers, those guys who care. Like, Hunter Renfrow is like he talks about Hunter. Find you someone who talks about you the way you John Gruden talks about Hunter Renfrow, and you'll be the happiest person in the world with the best possible relationship there, because he loves him. So no, I'd have to check it out.
I don't know enough about colitis, but I'm sure there's everything is on a spectrum. But yeah, it was
that's what had me in the ER.
Yeah, I know. That's why I brought it up. Yeah, I had no idea it was could be as severe as it obviously can be. But
I'll never forget, man. Like, when I went to the ER with that colitis. So for people who don't know, who maybe listen from time to time, again, give us a like, retweet on the room. Appreciate the GMs as well over in the YouTube streets. Dobbins, Machiavelli, Maria. We got the welcome memes count in the house. Mel, as always. Von Frunten.
On a Friday, even.
Aspiring Nobody. Teacher Katie in there as well. Clay, all of our good friends. Micro, Mike C, screenwriter Dave, Brick it all. Want to give some love there. But like, retweet, comment, bookmark the room. Again, spaces have been slow to warm up lately, so all the retweets and everything on all the stuff is incredibly helpful. But no, man, like, people don't know. Like, we had Michael Lee from Abstract coming in. I'd been talking with him and impressed with him in Telegram. I think this was pre-launch of Abstract, and was excited to talk to him. And the night before, I started feeling crappy. Like, and my stomach, the pain, which I'm not saying I'm like, everyone thinks they have a high pain tolerance. I'm not saying if someone came and punched me in the mouth, I would have a high pain tolerance. But on stuff like this, I do. Like, I've sprained my ankle and walked around on it for a few days and then being like, your ankle's messed up, man. You got to get that fixed. And I've had like stomach issues and other things. But it was really, really bad. And I told Dawn, I think I'm going to go to the ER. I think I'm going to go to the ER. Spent the night in the ER with colitis. I was sitting there like being like, did my appendix burst? Am I going to die on the floor of this ER? It was like as painful of a 24 hours as it's been in. A lot of stories about the medical system I could tell about that one where it wasn't great, where I sat out in the lobby with people who were probably there. Like, there's someone who's there with the sniffle sipping a Dr. Pepper, like a huge Dr. Pepper from Burger King in the ER lobby. And other people who seemed like they're like so. And like, I was just like, can you guys give me like a painkiller or an anti-inflammatory? And they kept saying, yeah. And they didn't. I didn't even get my CT scan till 3 a.m. when I went in at like 9 p.m. Didn't get my painkiller or even an anti-inflammatory until like 5 a.m. and it finally worked. But it was bad, man. Like, the colitis was like, it set me back for like 2 days and it was painful. And so, like, I can only imagine what Hunter Renfrow went through, because
why was it? Help me understand, like, how quick it was. A couple days. I'm not downplaying how painful those couple days were, but I guess is it just different severities, or is there different kinds of colitis that laid it, like, put him out for an entire season? Like, how did you recover so quickly, I guess, versus
it's probably just a different like type of, because colitis, I believe, is just an inflammation of the intestines based on like different types of diseases you can get. So it could be like, different types of bacteria or things. And I'm not a medical expert, so I don't know, but like, mine was very quickly diagnosed, but like to the point where, like, again, I'm a healthy 41-year-old male.
Ulcerative colitis. Ulcerative. I can't say the word. TIV colitis. Is that the same thing?
They didn't give me a diagnosis, but they literally had me go down to like the Cleveland Clinic main campus and get tests to make sure everything was kosher, including like a test to see if I had literal cancer. Like, I kid you not. Like, they were like, so it's like the severity of it isn't like, I didn't really talk about it, and I kind of downplayed it on the show outside. I went to the ER, but I'm good or whatever. But it was like, I was in the ER and by the way, Dawn is the MVP. I told her I'd go to the ER by myself. She accompanied me because she is like such a great partner. And she stayed with me in the ER all night until 5 a.m. when we left, got home, took a 1-hour nap, took a shower, and then worked a shift and a half. Worked a 12-hour shift after being in the ER with me all night without sleeping, just sitting there supporting me. But I needed it, man. It was like down for the count, and it's bad, man. So like, yeah, like I kind of downplayed it a little bit, but I literally had to get extra tests down and like special equipment. They checked me for certain cancer things and different things around that. So like, it's not a joke. And I kind of downplayed it because I'm like, oh, it's just colitis, because I thought my appendix burst. I was in such pain. I was keeled over and couldn't move. Which again, if you want to know the worst place to think that you're going to potentially die, it is like a tiny ER waiting room with uncomfortable chairs, keeled over, like bent at the waist because you can't even sit down from the pain. And they won't even give you a painkiller or an anti-inflammatory or anything, and you don't get your CT scan until like 6 hours after you came in. But it was bad. So not surprising that Hunter Renfrow got put out by something like that, because I imagine it can obviously get more severe. Especially if it doesn't go away. And I can only imagine how painful that was over the course of a long period of time. But I mean, it was literally like a couple of days of like pain. You know, it's hard to explain the level of the pain that existed from this thing, and how it just like pulsed and got worse and worse and worse and worse. So in any case, yeah, like did not know that. But on happier news, I don't know. I need to probably change the subject in some way, because I know we're probably depressing the audience with our inflamed intestines.
I dropped that article on Hunter Info. If anyone wants to read more, you can study your colitis stories offline.
Yeah, it was horrible, but no, man. So anyway, long story short,
although we are apparently giving medical advice this morning, Steve. Meshmesh says, just looked it up on the NHS website. I think I need to go see my GP because I've got all the symptoms in mild form. So, hey, maybe our we're playing a doctor on TV today. We're playing some doctors on TV, and yeah, go get your, whether you're having digestion issues or not, make sure you're seeing your doctor on a semi-regular basis.
Yeah, get to see your doctor. I mean, this is one of those things where prior to COVID, I saw the doctor. I had the COVID situation. I didn't see a doctor again until like last year. And it's dumb not to do it. It's like, and like, be honest with your doctor, tell all the things, like they're there to help you. Like some people just generally are, people like avoid the doctor because they're like, well, if the doctor doesn't tell me I'm sick, then I can't, then I'm not sick type thing. It's like almost this weird attitude. So, take care of yourselves, folks.
Indeed. And I know I saw you already updated the headline. I know we got a lot to talk about today. Probably not newsworthy, and maybe another time. I see him out in the audience. I don't know if he's listening in or not, but I see Brett out there, and I just want to say I love how MegaETH is building. And
I thought you were gonna like this. This is like right up your alley. Go ahead.
I commented in Modern Market Show earlier today. It's like I love it so much, like it makes me want to move to New York for a month. And I never thought I would say that. Because I'm not a fan of New York. But if you're not familiar, they're hosting 3 creator houses across the world for 30 days, and they're filling in with 15 builders, 15 founders. It's kind of like an in real life version, a much, much, much more intense version of our idea with ApeCon of bringing together these builders and hopefully, some serendipitous co-founder connections and seeing what comes out of it. And for a chain to take this approach, it just makes me really bullish on MegaETH. The how they're building this, it's not just some random dApps. It's not, builders aren't just coming there because they want some free gold. It's so much bigger than the incentives. And I don't know, maybe no unicorn dApps come out of it. I actually would be shocked if we don't see some really cool dApps come out of these, come out of these 30-day sprints. I just wanted to say that I love how they're building, and maybe in a time we probably should have in addition to Brett, have the MegaETH team on someday and do a deep dive whenever timing makes sense for them. But yeah, I don't think that's getting near enough attention, and love the approach to how thoughtful and intentional they are building out their chain.
Why
When
don't you
somebody in this space, just like, I think it's a very much a it's like the polarizing approach to like Boop and the vampire attack. Like, we'll get into that here in a bit as well, but I mean, from a mechanic standpoint, and when you would get the people at the timeline talking about you, you want to get, mind share. Like, the vampire attacks work in this space. You can incentivize the heck out of people. And it works. I think it's harder to keep attention than it is to get attention. And I think the best way to keep attention is build really cool stuff. And I think this approach, the MegaETH approach, opposed to like Boop, is the chances they create some really cool stuff is just, it's not even, it's so far greater. I don't know. Is this making any sense? You picking one of them?
I am picking up what you're putting down. So let's go back to the original part. What would stop you from trying to do this? Because you are a founder, you love this sort of thing, you like MegaETH, you get it, you like the tech, you bring a certain skill set as far as the business angle things. Like Cap does all of the business stuff on Coffee with Captain. I just show up and read, and I do some booking, I do some prepping and stuff, but like I have zero business end of Coffee with Captain. Like that is all Cap. So what is stopping you from trying to do such a thing?
I mean, the reality is, as much as I would love to do it, I'm like a year away from that. My youngest daughter is only going to be home for another year, and I don't really want to take one of those 12 months away from the time with her.
Yeah, that's fair. So like, it's kind of one of those.
This time next year. Well, not this time next year, but let's say fall of next year. Yeah, I'd strongly consider it. I have no excuses as to not to. There's nothing like, well, I guess Duke, are these founder houses dog friendly?
Yeah, that's probably the thing you need to figure out because of your dog and all that stuff. I mean, that's the thing. Like, life gets in the way, man. It's like people talk about this. Like, I've talked about like whether this is going to be like an article I write at some point where it's like, I don't think people realize like if you want to do all the things, you mentioned your daughter and the importance of that. And that's something where it's like, you're making a conscious decision to say, this is my sort of like time to spend, and next year might not be, but I've got to do this thing. I have this conversation all the time about like, I wake up, I do the show, I get coffee for the fam, I help get the kids ready for school, we go off onto our day, we do the show, we wrap the show, we have a debrief. Now it's 10:30. Now I stretch. Now I eat. It's noon. I have to pick my daughter up at like, my son gets home at 2:30. Fine, he's self-sufficient at this point. I have to pick my daughter up at like 3:15. So by noon, I have 3 hours to make a decision. Am I going to exercise? Okay, now I have 2 hours. Am I going to do work? Now I have 3 hours to do work. What work am I going to do? How am I going to do that? Pick up my daughter. Then afterwards, if I have meetings, that cuts into it. It's really hard to be a outdoor cat with a family at a stage where you're involved and have all sorts of stuff. My kids have shit every night, man. My kids have, whether it's cooking class, my daughter is cooking class, by the way, diet not going well. My daughter got mad at me at first because I'm looking at all her food and I'm like, salad, salad, salad. They're like cookies, chocolate. And she looks at me and she's like, what are you doing? Why are you saying that? I'm like, because I'm on a diet. And if I want to eat this food, it's a salad. Like she made this dark chocolate bark with like strawberries on top. She made like these cookies that had like marshmallows and chocolate chips in them. She made these chocolates from scratch. And like, I was sitting there and I was looking at them, and then she kind of get this smirk and she unveiled like this thing of cookies and she goes, and the last salad. Cause she like likes when I eat her food. It's like what she likes to do. So it's like, but she's got cooking class. She's got gymnastics. My son's got travel soccer. They won their first game. No big deal. In the division up, which is awesome. So it's like, and then that's on top of if I just want to like watch TV, hang out, do something with my wife, go out to food. So General Wags said you sold me at cookies. By the way, General Wags, real story. I am trying to convince my daughter to go all in on perfecting her pastry, sort of like appearance, because she makes delicious things. She makes peanut butter cups. She dyed red peanut butter for like the Buckeye game. She does things like that. It's good. I legitimately think my daughter could be a pastry chef who like sells independently and owns her own shop. And I've told her, I'm like, you just need to hone in on this thing because you're good at it. She prefers it. So anyway, so I've been trying to push her on that sort of thing because she experiments too. This is the beautiful part about being a kid, and then I'll get us back on track because I know we got a lot to talk about. The beautiful part about being a kid is that you're just entrepreneurial by nature. Like my daughter, she's like, you know what? What if I scoop the cream out of like 15 Oreos and then use that as a filling for this chocolate? And I made Oreo truffles and peanut butter truffles. And like, so she's like creative. She tries different things. There's always something in the freezer where I'm like, what's going on here? And she's like, don't touch that. It's part of my, dessert. So anyway, I've been trying to encourage her because I think it's a really cool thing. But she does library events. Even last week, Diablito liking Cookie Con, Mesh is in for it. Cookies for Ape Con. So people are actually into this topic. But no, I've been trying to encourage it because it's like I don't know, like it's really delicious and like I unironically enjoy. She made some peanut butter cookies from scratch the other day that were really good. That were like less unhealthy than normal cookies. So I've been trying to encourage this because it's like it's good. She likes doing it. I hate cooking. I spend all this time for something I'm going to eat, and I'm a quick eater. Like, no thanks, but she loves it. So, in any case, Cap, I know we have a lot to cover, but anything else you want to hit on before? I know it's 8:21. We got Boop. We got Dude. We have a Kaito discussion I know you want to get into. We got Klainos dropping information. Klainos continues to not get respect, probably because of the Solana blockchain.
They're going to do another one. I'm not sure if it's going to help on that front, but we'll see.
Yeah, so they're going SWE on some things. We got a major derivative crypto company saying that ETH is basically a meme coin, and so they're going all in on Bitcoin.
I missed that.
Yeah, no, it's so anyway. So yeah, it was that's a quick one, I guess, that I'll hit on. I need to look up who it is. I think it's called 2 Prime. I wasn't super familiar because I'm not a derivatives guy. I don't play those markets, but one of the largest derivative asset firms in the world decided to stop dealing with ETH and only focus on Bitcoin and said ETH acts like a meme coin. So that was hurtful to me in my ETH bags. But Cap, what direction do you want to go this morning? We can go a lot.
I don't care. We'll hit them all. Whichever one you want to start. I'm indifferent.
Let's go with Boop. Are you launching a coin?
I'm not launching a coin. I'm not selling a coin. I'm not going to talk about a coin. Will I experiment on...
Are you claiming your airdrop?
Will I experiment on new platforms like I did on OpenSea in 2021 and create some NFTs? Yeah, absolutely.
It's amazing.
I'm like the whole like moral dilemma. I'm sorry, but it's just these people are virtue signaling. Like it's very different to, my opinion, it's very different to experiment with tech, play around with the platform, use the product, which they want you to do to get their incentive rewards. Like it's kind of the idea of just getting an airdrop for doing nothing is just idiotic. Like companies that do that now, we see how that works. It doesn't work anymore. Like that shit goes to zero. You have to have something more than just giving free money to people because they have a crypto wallet. And so I take no issue whatsoever with these protocols saying, hey, we'll give you this airdrop, but you got to use our platform first. And oh, by the way, we're going to give it to you in 30 days. That way you don't just sell it all immediately. Like that's just smart business. That's just smart customer acquisition. That's just a very well done vampire attack. So, and I also think that, I don't know, man. Like we can get into the deeper discussion, but yeah, I'm not above not claiming $40,000. Who do these people think they are? You're just going to walk away from 300 grand. Now it's very different if you start shilling something and then you dump, you keep half the supply and you dump on your followers. Yeah, that's grifty. That's extracting from your following, your base. It's very different than using a platform to qualify for an airdrop. I'm not selling anything. I'm not launching anything. But yeah, I experimented. I created something, and I'll never speak of it because I'm not trying to sell it. Now, I thought about actually launching something and putting some thought into it. I do not want to be a meme coin dev or a meme coin founder. If I were to do it, it would have been something much more along the lines of like Billy Betts, where they've incorporated a token into something that's real, something that they're building. And at the end of the day, I'm like, I don't need to do that right now. I don't want to do that right now. So I'm going to go use the platform they'd like me to do. I'm going to do it now. That way, because I'm not going to talk about this thing. It's not going to graduate or hit the tiers to reduce my time. So instead of thinking about it for a week and then getting my claim in 37 days, like I'll be able to claim it in 30 days and I'll sell the thing. And do I expect it to be worth 40 grand then? No. But find me a person who's not going to click a button for $4,000. Again, I'm not selling anything. I'm not promoting anything. If you happen to go hunt down this token I created and buy it, that's on you. There's NFTs I created in 2021 that are on my OpenSea profile that now has 12,000 NFTs. You want to go back and buy one of those? That's on you. I'm not selling them, but if you make an offer, you can buy it. But I'm not promoting it. I'm not advertising it. I'm not, dumping on my following. So yeah, I think those that are making this a moral dilemma, I think it's just a form of engagement farming, form of virtue signaling, or they're far wealthier than I thought they were. If they're just turning down $400,000, like that's a lot of money for very little effort. And it's not like they're saying, oh, you have to go talk about this thing and spam your timeline every day to qualify for this. So it's just like, I think I was shocked that people made such a big deal out of it when the numbers were so extreme. Like if it was like $50, sure, no one's going to claim it. $400,000, get out of here. Go click the button and let the clock wind 30 days. Like, what are you thinking? Not claiming $400,000.
So, is there a number?
Not legal. There's millions of these things been created. The president of the United States created one. Like, it's not illegal. It's illegal to commit fraud. It's like Ponzi schemes, pump and dumps. Like some of that stuff is like selling unregistered securities. Like, yeah, those things you probably are you shouldn't be doing or questionable at best. But to create a token is not illegal. Like, what are these people talking about, Steve? Like, it's not the Chris Jordan token. It's not the Captain Zwingli token. I created one of what will soon be like 100 million meme coins. Do I have any concern or thought that like the feds are going to knock down my door tomorrow and throw me in a cage? No, I have zero concern that anything I did was illegal or immoral. Like, am I way off here?
I think there's a lot of nuance to it. So
Sure, but just the thought of using a protocol platform to create a token, how is creating a fungible token any different than creating a non-fungible token?
Well, I think there's a lot of differences on purpose and what you're doing and why you're doing it, right?
The actual act of creating a token to experiment, because I am here for the tech. So I experimented with NFTs. I minted some photos. I did some other things like that. Like, okay, I'm not I'm not out there selling and claiming this is going to go to $1 million. Like, I created a token. Like, there's nothing, no law is that illegal.
I think that there is like a lot of pieces to discuss here. So like, I think we need to like kind of break it into categories. I think for those who missed it, by the way, because I saw someone say they missed Boop, Dingaling, who's a big longtime whale, who owns a bunch of Bored Ape Yacht Club, Azuki, some other things, launched a token launcher, which is sort of a Pump.fun competitor. There is a airdrop that is based on Kaito and your meme coin trading activity. I personally did not qualify for the meme coin trading. My Kaito, because I am not a big KOL, was like, currently at current prices, $7,000 worth of token. Now in 30 days, that's going to be like $1,000 or something, probably max, right? It's probably like $400 million market cap, $500 million market cap's a lot to hold. Who knows? But in either way, so they launched this thing where you can connect your Kaito and you can connect your trading wallet. At that point, you have the option to claim it, but to claim it, you must launch a token, and then it will unlock in 30 days unless the token performs really well, in which case it'll unlock sooner. Like I think Cirrus, who had like a $400,000 airdrop, something like that. He like launched it, and I think it's going to get out sooner than later. So he's going to be able to claim that money and just continue to be very, very rich. So basically, it was a vampire attack on Pump.fun, but the point Cap is making, and then there was a big discussion about like the dilemma of launching a token, what that means. It is tied to your X account. It's tied to your name. So it's like very discoverable in that sense. And so a lot of people are saying like, look, if this thing is tied to my X account and my name forever, I don't know that I want to launch this token. So that's thing number one and what happened.
But by tied to your X account, it says that's this person created this token. That's it. It's not like on my X profile. If someone wants to hunt it down, that's the only it simply links your X account to it as the creator of the token. Just like when you create a Pump.fun, your wallet that you used is linked to that Pump.fun wallet or that Pump.fun token.
Right. So it's very identifiable in that sense that like you will know if, Whale Swoosh launches a token, you can know Whale Swoosh launched a token. The big thing that happened on the timeline yesterday is a lot of these top Kaito yappers came on and said, I don't know if I want to do this, like the moral dilemma of launching this thing, of a token. I understand their consternation. I think there is a sweet spot that you're probably in for a launch where it's like,
just click the button, don't talk about it. Like if you're not promoting something, if you're not saying, go buy this thing, this is going to move, like there, you can go the other route. Like I see Kook out there shilling his token. Like that's very different than creating something and just letting it, like, again, it's not like 5 of these are created a day. Thousands of these things are created. Like the only way something happens is if you start promoting it or people go hunt it down and buy something on their own, for their own, on the completely their own accords. Like there's just, I don't see any, who's getting harmed here.
I mean, people could get harmed for sure, but that's
whose fault is that?
But I'm not saying whose fault it is. I'm saying people can get harmed for sure. It's no different than any other meme coin thing, which you can make the same argument about meme coins in general. So I think that there is how much is worth it to someone to launch to. So for example, if you had a $75 airdrop in 30 days, would you be launching a token?
No.
If you had $1,000, would you launch a token?
Maybe. Because I'm not launching a token. I created a token. I think it's very different. Semantics, but it's very different in my mind.
Okay, would you create a token? So you would consider creating a token for 1,000?
Yeah, why wouldn't I? I created NFTs on OpenSea and for nothing.
What are those NFTs?
I'll go pull them up.
No, what are they though? Like say it, like explain the context.
I minted an NFT because I was new to the tech. I'd never done it before, and I wanted to experiment with it. That's it. I minted a photo on OpenSea. I mint several of them because I was playing around with it.
And does that photo have a market cap and a discoverability for people to find and trade around at, large volumes? No. And so I think there's a difference, but it doesn't matter in the context you're saying, which, by the way, I think it's important to say, I 1000% agree with you on the airdrop conversation of they're asking you to use the tech and they need to have a startup where they have a product. Like if they just launch this Boop thing and a bunch of people launch stuff, they're like, whatever. They're incentivizing people to shill their token in that. And I mean, you're not doing this, but like if you have a $400,000 airdrop and it unlocks quicker, like a Cirrus or a Whale, or you have a 6-figure airdrop or whoever it is, if this thing unlocks, if you're easy, if this thing unlocks, the better it does, you're incentivized to do it. It's a good incentive structure. It makes sense. They're trying to build a platform that's a meme coin launcher. They're helping you push the product. I agree with you on the premise in that. I have a $7,000 or $8,000 airdrop as of right now that I am not planning on launching a token to claim. My personal take, I'm not trying to have some big moral high ground, although there is a little bit of that. But I mean, not like I'm being like sort of self-righteous about it. It's just there is a little bit of, I understand the dilemma personally because it's not my jam. I also don't really want someone to have the moral high ground over me if I'm doing things to be like, oh yeah, but you launched a token, so who are you? And I'll be like, I launched that to claim a fifth, these are
the worst. The people who are like I saw people attacking Bold. If you launch this, I'll unfollow you. What is wrong with you? Like, what are you doing? He's not doing anything wrong. He's not. Now, if someone launches a token and they pump it up and then they dump half the collection on their followers, yeah, that's wrong. Unfollow those people. These things are not the same. Dumping on your following is not the same as using tech in this space that has become extremely popular over the past year. Hundreds of thousands of millions of these things have been launched. Like, there's nothing wrong with creating a fungible token on a blockchain. It is perfectly legal. Do you agree with that? Like, is there anything illegal with creating a fungible token on a blockchain?
Of that exact statement, no. Correct. Yes, there's nothing illegal about launching a fungible token on a blockchain that I am aware of. Now, how you do it matters, and there's pieces of that, and what you do with it for sure. And again, the thing that's interesting to me is I'm not making some moral judgment. I'm making more of a personal judgment of based on my goals and what I want to do. I don't want to have that conversation down the line about launching that I launched a token, right? Like, and I know that a lot of people don't care and nobody else will care. I don't want to. And the fact that that's even in my head is fine. I don't know. And I'm being just dead honest. I don't know that it would change if I had a 50,000 airdrop, a $10,000 airdrop. Like, I don't know where that number changes. I know for a $7,000 airdrop, that'll be $1,000 in 30 days or whatever it is, possibly. I don't know that. I'm just saying that for like argument's sake, could be below that.
I mean, like, what do you think Looks Rare was market cap after 30 days?
Oh, I couldn't even tell you, but that's a whole different time of game.
As the token, we all know the token is went to zero. Well, almost. It's a 20 today. Still, it's a $20 million market cap. What do you what?
After 30 days, I mean, given the time of that market, it was probably still a $500,000 market cap, or I mean, $500 million market cap, 500, $500 million. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Range of outcomes. It's Dingling has done this once before. It's in the range of outcomes. The mechanics are pretty darn good. If you look at the tokenomics, the mechanics, how they're doing this thing, it's possible that this thing holds a $300 to $400 million market cap for 30 days. It probably doesn't hold it for a year, but it's it's realistic. It's a coin flip, 50-50, that he does what he did in the past and he holds a $300 or $400 million market cap for 30 days.
Yeah, but I think no, because here's the thing. Like, I think, for example, you launching yesterday is significantly better than someone launching today, because in 30 days, there's going to be a run to the exit with so much liquidity. So, like, saying it holds that market
35 days, 45 days, very different than 30 days from now, or 30 days from yesterday.
Correct. 30 days from today, like, not launching yesterday is a major detriment to anybody.
I don't think it's that major, though, because not that many launched. Surprisingly, how few, like, the things are still open. Like, we should have explained the how they did it. Because it basically, at least on the Kaito side, on the X side, like, you could connect your wallet and you got potentially a claim based on your Memecoin trading activity. Then you had to disconnect, connect your X account, and it went off your Kaito. And based on your following, your account, and the frequency you talked about meme coins, it put you in a tier. And the tier started out, the top one, I think there was maybe like 25 that could do it, and there was 50 total in the tier. I was tier 4, I think. I don't remember what it was, but there was 250 people in the tier. There was only 100, so like, or 240 people in the tier. 125 people could do it. So only half the people that qualified were able to do it. And after it runs out, it runs out. But it's like a slow drip. Like, not many people did it yesterday. I think there was, like, when I looked last night, there was still like 98 spots left out of the 125 in the tier I was in.
Yeah, and I'm in tier 5 because I am not an influencer on Kaito, and there is still 214 spots left out of the 300. But I still think if you're asking me to look at my crystal ball, I think that this thing is going to be significantly down in market cap in 30 days.
I agree.
I think that, I think that's, like, important to say. So I wonder myself, because I do know there's a number, I'll be honest. Like, if I had a 6-figure airdrop, I would be launching and talking about it, because that's a full ass salary. For me, saying the risk reward of it's sort of like upside versus downside. Like, I'll give Taproot Wizards an example. When I talked about what people are like, do you mint Taproot Wizard? It's like, well, if it's a 0.2 Bitcoin mint and the downside in the first, 30 days is probably about 0.15, which is about what it was. But the upside is, some people are saying this thing will sell for a whole Bitcoin. The risk reward profile based on the sort of asymmetrical odds there, like, you're getting good money, right? For me, a $7,000 airdrop for something that I'm not into, that I worry about that sort of like moral high ground in the future, that I worry about, like, where regulations go in the future and everything else, and how that might cost me and what that might mean, and just my own personal sensibilities. I'm like, well, $7,000, which is going to be cut at least in half in 30 days. Again, not a... I
think the other thing here is, like, we're not giving enough credit for the platform. This is why I'm going to go back to, like, let's forget about the airdrop and just talk about Boop compared to Pump.fun. It's far superior on almost every level. Like, if you compare the two side by side, why would anyone launch on Pump.fun? What is the advantage of launching on Pump.fun? I don't know the answer, other than maybe you have more eyeballs to potentially graduate faster.
Yeah,
but the economics are far superior on Boop. And I've been saying for months, like, it's mind blowing. You got a DApp that generated $600 million in their first 6 months, and no one stepped up with a an actual viable product to compete with them? We have one now. In this space, it's not just a good product. You have to capture attention. Well, it's done that now. So now they're giving away, I think that now I'll go grab the tweet. I think it's $350,000 a day. I mean, $350,000 a day that Boop is giving away to users of their platform, compared to Pump.fun, who's giving away 0. Like, let's forget about the airdrop for a second. Talk about the two platforms. Look at them side by side. Look at the user interfaces. Look at the tokenomics, and tell me why in the world would anyone use Pump.fun anymore?
Yeah, I mean, attention, market share, and by the way, I'll defer to you on it, because it's not, again, this isn't my world I play in, and if I'm being honest, like, and this is where I try to be transparent with the audience, if my allocation was significantly higher, I'd probably claim it, but there's probably a range in which I wouldn't, and I'm in that range at least at the moment. Who knows if I change my mind there? Here's the thing, if we're an instant claim based on launch, also, that might change, right? Like, I might say, hey, but like, they're trying to protect the tokenomics, they're trying to encourage people
building a better platform. Like, yeah, you might claim to dump, and in that, it's like, I appreciate a well thought out plan. People talked about how good of a Ponzi builder that Pac-Man was for a while. This is really well done. You don't have to like it, but I think respect how well it's done, because they thought through this stuff. You don't want, I don't care what kind of platform you're launching, you don't want people to get your token and dump it on day one. You can either incentivize them to keep the token, you can incentivize them to stake the token, you can slow drip it. These different mechanics are very important. And I think all this to be said, like, is there a chance the token goes down? Yeah. What if, I'm just going to give you a hypothetical, what if over the next 30 days, what the wild scenario that Boop overtakes Pump.fun market share? And now all of a sudden you're talking about a protocol that's been generating tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars a month. And now their competitor, which overtook them, is sharing in those tens of millions of dollars in profits and sharing with their users. Like, that's a really big deal. There is a world where Boop doesn't crash because it's well done. Now, if it was simply, oh, you claim and you can dump whenever, like, yeah, the token's probably already half of what it is today. Like, these mechanics matter a lot in this space. And it's, so far, I think it's been built pretty well. I just pinned up, like, Bread, not a meme coiner. He's raving about how well this is done. Like, this $350,000 in daily rewards. Is there another company on the planet that's giving away $350,000 in daily rewards?
No, like I said, like, I'm by the way, like, I actually disagree. Rare Ed in the chat, Rare Ed, who I almost always agree with, says, Cap, it's tied to token performance. That's the only weakness I see. Actually, I think it's a strength. They're encouraging people to launch tokens and start leading them forward. Like, that's what you want out of a platform like that. Like, I think they're right.
You don't want me, who's just going to experiment with the tech, create a token, and never do anything with it. They want people to actually do things with their token, actually promote the token, and find a winner. They want the kooks of the world who been in this, like, Kook could have launched a Pump.fun coin, whatever. Maybe he has, probably has, but I've never seen him promote his own coin on Pump.fun. One day later, he is relentlessly promoting his Pump Boop coin. Like, that's exactly what they want. They're winning. Like, I've been begging someone to come in and start cannibalizing Pump.fun market share. I think we now finally have a real competitor. We've seen several other try. The reason they haven't, because they all didn't build a good enough Ponzi.
Yeah, it's I get it. And so, like, I understand your perspective. My perspective is, again, potentially a little more nuanced in that, like, I get what you're saying. I actually track with everything you're saying. I'm not disagreeing or debating with you. Not my journey for what my airdrop is. I'm not disrespecting you or anybody else who's doing it for that reason. But here's what I'll say. I'll put it this way. If the token triples in 30 days, then it's a lot more likely that I'm going to be here in the next few days. A lot more likely I'll be like, all right, we're starting to get into a range where this claimable airdrop is a lot more valuable to me. And I don't blame you for the price in which you did it. I don't blame anybody for doing it, even if they did it for $100. It's just, it's not me personally for a variety of reasons. It doesn't feel right, and you have to do what feels right for you personally. But I understand the reasoning, and I think it's insane that people are like, oh my God, I have to use the product.
What feels wrong about it? Because I think I'm a pretty, like decent human being.
I'm not calling you a bad human being. It doesn't feel
it doesn't
right.
Feel, not
right
one
for
thing about
me.
that button felt wrong to me.
Yeah,
Not
it
one
doesn't
thing
feel
felt
right for me. I don't like meme coins. I think they're a liquidity suck. I think it's not a great product. Now, again, I will let people play with them. They want to play in the casino, but me contributing to that with more useless junk doesn't feel good. I don't know if the regulatory standards will all stay the same. I'm not familiar enough with, honestly, the entirety of the legalities and regulatory standards of launching properly based on what they're considered right now, whether it's considered property or it's considered a commodity or it's considered a product you own. So I'm not even familiar enough with those. I have a high level understanding as I've approached it, but I don't know about those. And just frankly, like, I just don't want to have it tied to my name. Like, when I launch a product, I want it specifically tied to my name to be a little bit more thoughtful about what I'm launching and what it is. I'm not saying it's bad that other people are doing it.
I would prefer it to not be linked to my X account.
Well, there you go. That's me.
But it's not like, I think it's very different from creating something versus launching something. I create things all the time and I don't talk about them. All the time I create things.
But you don't create things that people could potentially discover and then, like,
they could.
Great. Exactly. No, I mean, you don't create things that people are going to discover and speculate on, like a financialized casino, which is, again, that's fine. I'm not putting it as a judgment call on you. I'm saying, for me, I'm not saying it doesn't feel right in the general sense of like, it's wrong, everybody shouldn't do this. I think it's smart they're telling people to use the product. I think Memecoin people should go there. If I was a Pump.fun user, I would be going there and participating in the vampire attack. It doesn't feel right for Steve Kaczynski personally, like, in the sense of, like, it doesn't feel like something I want to do or participate in. And so I'm choosing to opt out, at least at the moment. Who knows? Maybe I'll change my mind after seeing things. I change my mind all the time on things. So, but that's where I'm at personally. I'm not passing judgment on anybody who does.
I mean, I bred a horse on Zed Fund Day. I created a non-fungible token that someone could speculate and buy.
The difference of launching a meme coin and breeding on Zed is massive. Like, massive. This is like, here's the thing. You don't have to do mental gymnastics to make it, like, justified. Like, what you did was fine. And the way you're doing it is very understandable.
I don't take any issue with anyone choosing not to claim, or it's not for them. It's fine what you're doing. Where I take issue with is the people who are in the comments virtue signaling and basically brainwashing these people to not claim several $100,000 because they're going to unfollow them if they claim their free money. Don't buy the freaking token. Like, there's nothing immoral about clicking a button, claiming a token that's several $100,000. Like, I think it's, I mean, even Kobe was in Bold's comments saying, dude, claim the fucking token. Just disclaimer, you're not doing anything. It's going to zero. Don't buy this thing. If people buy it, that's on them. People need to start taking accountability for things they do and stop blaming other people for their own actions.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I think that, like, it's different. It's different if the numbers are that big, number one. And yeah, like, again, like, I agree with you. I think the people who are, like, you know, clutching their pearls over it are
same people who are taking sponsored promotions to do undisclosed sponsored tweets and stuff. Like, get out of here. Who do you think you are? I'm not going to name any names, but I know some of these people who are riding this high horse right now. They get paid to talk about things and they don't disclose it. Like, that's worse, in my opinion.
I also think, I know Joey wants to get in here. He's champing at the bit, but I also think I also think there's probably, like, I wouldn't say it's virtue signaling. I think it's, like, inadvertent virtue signaling by some of the KOLs who are doing this. I do think some of, like, the people with the major followings and the six-figure airdrops are talking about the moral dilemma, but what they're really thinking about is similar things to what I'm thinking about, which is reputationally, do I want to have a token tied to my name and my X account forever? And it's not a moral issue to me, although I see the morality of, like, people will follow them. Here's the danger of being a KOL. When you're that level of person in sort of, like, people who follow you like a cult, which is an apt name for the Boop platform, and people will do and follow what you do. When you're one of those people, you have to consider what you do and your actions the same way that a large podcaster has to consider platforming people they platform. On its surface, you could be like, I have insert horrible person on my podcast, but, you know, I'm just a podcaster asking questions. On the practicality of it, how you approach that matters. And I think for other people, it changes the same way with tokens. So I think there's a lot of considerations. I actually went away with Whale Swoosh's take on it, that people love to shit on these KOLs. I think the fact that these KOLs actually are debating this the way they are, even if they're trying to mentally justify it or disclaimer stuff, shows that they have far bigger of a moral compass than people give them credit for. And I actually appreciate that. Like, I appreciate that easy.
I think it was Will that even came out and said, I'm not talking about this anymore. I realize that many of us are just virtue signaling. I think he self-admitted, like, this was just a virtue signal. What am I doing?
Yeah, but I do think, like, I don't know. I don't see it that way. Like, I'm not virtue signaling.
The wrong word. They're looking for their following. Basically, they're looking for permission. They're seeking.
Yes.
They care about what their following thinks about them, and so they're seeking permission from their followers to say, "Go ahead and do this thing. You deserve it, King. Go get your free claim."
But
that's what they're seeking.
I think it's fair to like use your audience as a judgment of like what they think about this thing. Like, I think that's fair. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's bad to be like.
I think though that's if you're really concerned about your following getting hurt, I think that is maybe riskier than just doing the thing and not talking about it at all. Like, talking about it is going to bring more attention to it, and Whale's going to drop this token, and now people's watching it, and now people rush in. Like, I don't know. Like, I think if you're going to talk about it, you need to make it. You're at a crossroads.
See, I disagree. The way that crypto works, like, people are still tracking Frank DeGod's like undoxed wallet since he went elsewhere and showing his like profit and loss from like new fresh wallets he creates like every other week. Like, so people would find out if Whale claimed it. Like, I think doing it publicly is the best thing they can do to be like, I'm doing this publicly. It is not anything you should buy.
That's it. That's what I was going to say. They need to either come out, if they're going to say it, they need to come out and say, I'm doing this, but I'm not doing anything with it. Do not buy it. It's going, like, I'm not doing anything with it. I'm just doing it purely to collect the claim. Or if they're actually going to do something with it, like, I just think it's very, there's two very distinctly different ways you could go about this.
I agree. And so that's why I'm saying, like, I don't think anybody's doing it wrong, because nobody expected this mechanic. Nobody knew this was going to happen. So because there's such a disparity in knowledge leading into this thing, I think people are reacting in real time. I'm not judging anyone for their reaction. I'm not judging you for launching one. I'm not judging or creating one. Sorry, I keep using the term launching. It's what you say when you launch a coin, so I apologize. I'm not judging you for creating one. I'm not judging people who don't create one. I'm not judging people who work out their morality on the timeline. I'm not judging people who like think this through in different ways. I'm not judging people who say it's just not for me. I'm not judging people who launch and don't say anything or do say anything. Like, I think there are so many ways to approach it.
Except I will judge the people who are attacking the people who are eligible for several $100,000 of free money, and they're attacking them and making them question is it morally right to accept free money. Don't buy the thing. Like, stop caring. Like, stop attacking other people because you're jealous you didn't qualify for a claim.
Yeah, they're assholes. That's what it is. Like, it's the same thing as anything else. Like, I
actually am like, it's making me mad that Bold, who I don't know Bold, I've never talked to him in person. I get the impression like he's like check to check. He's living off he's like an outdoor cat like us. I get the impression that a couple $100,000 would be a lot of money to him, could potentially change his life. And he's considering not doing it because what some assholes in his comments are saying.
Yeah, I think he might be going through like the same thing as me. He just has a higher threshold for it. But yeah, no, I'm with you. I think, look, I think it's I'll put a button on it. Like, I think the important thing that I want to get across is that when new things happen, like, there's this sort of like discussion that happens that I thought was really interesting. Actually, I know people aren't a fan of Douglas Murray after his like debate, although I like Douglas Murray, but Douglas Murray made this point about the fog of war and how, there's this fog of war when war's happening. Everybody is not certain what's going on, and decisions are ambiguous, and it's very hard. Then afterwards, they act like it was never foggy at all. They're like, well, sure, Winston Churchill did this, but could he have done this differently? And it's like, he was in the middle of war. And so I think with this one, not to make the analogy to war, but like to make the point of like, we had something launched that nobody was prepared for, that people didn't understand. It was foggy. It was confusing. And everybody wants to judge everybody for every action they take. I think it's probably worthwhile to say that, everybody's reacting differently. And I think it's like, there's no right or wrong way. I mean, we can say like, I don't know. I won't go into like what I was going to say, but the point is like, there's no really right or wrong way to do it. And I don't know.
There's wrong ways. Like, you could be very extractive with this, and you could fake pump
in the context of what we're talking about.
Right.
There's no right or wrong way in the sense of how the KOLs are asking for permission, people saying they're not going to do it, people calling it a moral dilemma, other people saying they're virtue signaling, other people saying they're not virtue signaling, people who talk about it, people who don't, people who create the coin without talking about it, me who talked not about it whatsoever, didn't launch a coin, had people in the war room encourage me to do so, didn't do it, still might. I don't know. Like, I don't know what I'm going to end up doing. Like, who knows? Like, I may change my mind, like, based on conversations I have. Like, that's part of what learning is. But I think that it's important to, like, acknowledge that everybody's working through a very strange scenario. Like, nobody is prepared to wake up and see a 6-figure airdrop, but they have to do something that they, like, imagine someone who said, I never plan on launching a coin ever. I never want to do that. And then suddenly they're staring $200,000 in the face and saying, well, now I got to decide to do this one way or the other. So it's a hard dilemma that I think most people don't understand. And your point about the people in the comments, there are a lot of people who are jealous of people with the platform, jealous of people who have opportunities, jealous of people who have worked really hard to get there. And they're going to make comments from the sideline that say more about them than about the person themselves who they're commenting on. I know Joey Valls probably has CrossFit in 5 minutes. So let's get Joey Valls in here. GM.
Hey, GM guys. Question. So you guys keep saying, go ahead, say hi.
Hi.
Little Joseph wanted to say hi.
Hi.
You guys keep, go ahead, hi.
Hi.
Okay. You guys keep saying like tied to your X account, right? So are we saying that, because I tried to go on Boop.fun and I think they're doing some updates or some fixes, or maybe not, or maybe it's just not loading on my computer for whatever reason. But can you search tokens by someone's X account? And that's how they would find you to see if you launched a token?
Yeah, I mean,
you can, but it doesn't return the individual. You can you can go type in kook. It doesn't return. You have to actually go find the token. So no, yeah, like I'm sure you can track it down. It's all on chain, so yes, it's trackable. But if you just go in the Boop, go in the Boop search bar and type Chris Jordan, you're not going to find me. Like you go type Captain.
So there's no way.
No.
So the only way to track if you ever launched a token would be to monitor your Solana wallet and see if your Solana wallet went through the process of launching the token and doing the claim.
Yes, it's essentially identical to Pump.fun that someone would have to track it back. Like if you promote it, if you tweet it, if they find the contract address, yeah, it's very easy to find. And right next on your X account's on the contract address on Boop.fun, but you can't. Like I would right now go try to if you weren't in the war room, anyone who's not in the war room, because I joked around talked a little bit about something last night. Anyone who's not in the war room, go try to find the token. Go try to find the token I created yesterday when I was demoing the platform, and I don't think you can find it. Like it's basically for all intents and purposes, it's the same as launching something on Pump.fun that could be tracked back to your wallet if you are a blockchain sleuth.
So then essentially, and I'm just talking through the scenario, right?
So Phonics is correcting Joey real quick, just to because I think this is relevant to your comment. There is a leaderboard that shows the X account. They're associated with the token. And if you go to the token, you can see who launched it. Like there are ways to very easily figure this out.
If you're on the leaderboard, if you're promoting your token, what my whole point is, if you just create a token, don't talk about it, don't promote it, don't launch it, don't sell it, I don't think you can find it. Or you have to do a lot of work to find it. I'll say that.
I imagine it's not as hard as you think. I imagine it's not as hard as you think.
I'm with let's say I'm on Team Steve here, where I'm like, listen, I don't want to launch a token because I don't believe in it. Like, I don't want my followers to start buying it, whatever, right? If I don't come out and say that I launched this token, right, and I've never track my Solana wallet, so no one has any idea what my Solana wallet address is, right? Realistically, if you're one of these people, I'm not saying like the Boldianitis guys, because I'm sure people can, have all their wallet. Maybe they don't. I don't know. But I would imagine if your claim is in the 6 figures, someone's probably found your wallet address at some point because you were clearly a trader, or maybe you weren't a trader and you strictly got it on your Kaito yaps. And if you strictly got it on your Kaito yaps and your X activity, then no one's going to know if you ever launched this token, right?
This is important. This is key to point out is it's not connected to your wallet. It's 2 separate connections. So
that's what I mean though. So if you fall into the into the influencer category, right? Of you're not a meme coin trader, but you're a yapper, and that's why you got.
It's a brand new fresh wallet. It's a fresh wallet. It's not connected to any other
So that's
wallet.
so I'm talking. Oh, sorry, Cap. I guess my connection's not good. Go ahead.
That's it. It's a fresh wallet. It's not connected to any other wallet. It shows your X account as a creator. I do not believe it's searchable. I'm trying to find others. I went through all this, and I really don't think you can find it unless you're promoting it and actually launching the thing and it's on a leaderboard. I don't think you can find it. I'm asking, like, can anyone who has no idea the name of what I created yesterday,
or if there's a platform update, right? Like that could happen too, because it is tied to your X account, it is tied to your name. There is a leaderboard. I'm not telling you that it's bad. I'm not like pushing back on your point, because your point about the discoverability, it's
not discoverable. It's
an important nuance
right now in its current form. It's very similar to Pump.fun in terms of, yeah, you could do some digging and find out who created it, but if they're just creating something, not talking about it, I don't think you can find it.
Yeah, well, that's my thought. Like, as I'm listening to you guys before I came up, I was listening to both sides, and I was kind of thinking through this process of, like, on Cap's side, if I never tell a single person that I'm launching a token, so I can claim my airdrop, and you guys kept saying tied to my X account, so then I started going to people's X accounts to see if there's like an auto notification that gets put out, like, hey, Whale launched a token on Boop.fun, right? Like, I don't know if, so I was trying to see, like, is there this announcement that happens, right? And clearly at this point, unless you specifically come out and say, I launched a token, from this conversation, and again, we could be wrong, but from what we know, there's no way anybody would know if you launched the token.
I wouldn't say no way, because, there is a brief moment in time, depending on volume, there's a brief moment in time when, like, I'm sure, like, the most recent one that just got created pops to the top, but then no one's going to buy it. It's not going to, there's not zero chance that it's going to be discovered. Like, it's just, I think, highly unlikely. Like, it would be almost random, or you just happen to be on the page at the time that the second it's created and it appears at the top of a feed.
You say that, but here's the thing. Like, again, I don't care about this, and I'm not saying these scenarios play out. Like, because this is weird, because, like, I'm on this, like, I'm standing on this, like, this side of things where I'm like, I don't care. I'm fine with people doing whatever they want. I'm just saying I'm choosing not to. But, like, I think, like, I don't think it's worth underplaying, like e-break. Yes, there's no way to get caught if you hide the body well. Like, that's the point. It's like, it's saying, like, yes, okay, it's not discoverable right now. Like, who's to say Ding-a-ling doesn't come out with a list of the top 50 people with followers who launched a token on their site in, 30 days? Who's to say that they don't launch, like, that these, that there isn't a searchability by X in the future, because it is an MVP product as far as minimum viable product there. Who's like it is tied to your X account, it is tied to your wallet. Like, it's fine to say launching it, but, like, and it's fine to say, like, hey, I feel like it's not discoverable right now, right? Stuff gets sent all the time. The bottom line is it is discoverable. It is tied to your X account. And if people don't want to launch for that reason, I respect it. If people are saying, like, they want to hide it because, as best they can, and they want to say in the future, if it's found, like, yeah, I launched it, I want to claim a large airdrop, like, I have no problem with that. That's what I want to do. I think it's a viable thing to say I wanted to use the tech. That's okay too. But I think, like, saying, like, right now it's hard to like, I think we need to wait a few days on that sort of thing. I think we need to wait time to see how discoverable it is in general. But I also don't have a problem with anybody creating a coin or saying that that's what they want to do. Like, I'm not saying I'm against meme coins. I'm saying meme coins have never been a product that I've used, but I respect the fact that there's a market there. That's always been my case. I used to get people mad at me when they'd be like, buy this coin, bro. I'm like, not my thing. They'd be like, oh, but you like NFTs. And they start to try to argue. Yeah, I do. It's fine. I like different things. Like, I think it's okay to say, like, I launched, I'm claiming the airdrop. I don't think there's anything morally wrong with it. There's nothing legally wrong with it. And I've made a decision to use a product. All of those things are great. So I think, great, like, go for it. Like, launch it. I know Joey thinks I'm crazy not launching, given that the airdrop is, 7 to 8K. That is a lot of money to me, but it's also not within the threshold, at least at the moment of way I'm thinking of wanting to launch this token. That's okay too. Like, it's not my thing. It's hard to explain, and I'm not explaining very well why I want to do it. I'm not taking the moral high ground. I'm not making good judgment of anybody who does. I don't think people should make judgments of those people who do. But like, not my journey is fine. Like there will be other airdrops and things that I'll claim that people will say is stupid too. I don't know. Like I don't need people like.
Steve, I'm with you. Like I've never wanted to launch a token, and I'd probably be in the same thought process you of like not launching a token. But that's why I was talking through the process of like, and again, I know the example you used about, if they don't find the body, then it's not murder, which I think is a little extreme. But I was just thinking through this process of like, if I was in Steve's shoes, right? And I am not a fan of, I would not be a fan of launching a token and putting my followers at risk and all the things like you're saying. Like I am on your team for that. And I was just, again, thinking through that process of like, if we keep talking about being tied to my X account, but really, is it really tied to your X account if people can't find it?
Yeah, but that's the point. Is people
there a scenario
can't.
Where I could do that? I have nothing to claim. I'm not an influencer. I'm not enough of a trader. But I was just, again, like if there's no way to find your token, if you did this in the middle of the night at like 1 a.m, right?
It's possible.
And no one saw it. What's the,
There is a way that is possible. That's the thing. And I think that's the concern of some is it can be tied back to you. It's possible. If someone wanted to dig deep enough, they could find, I created a fungible token last night. There was also 4 of them with the identical ticker created within an hour of each other. There's also been 300 tokens created just since we've been hosting this show. So like in that time, the person who created one at the beginning of the show, you can't even find them now. They're all, you got to scroll way down. You got to really look. And it's not in your face. They're not saying like, oh, could they do that? Sure. If Dingling publishes a post and says, hey, Whale and Easy and ICO, here's the tokens they created. My question would be, who's promoting that? Is it Whale, Easy, and ICO, or is it Dingling in the platform?
Well, I think this is again, first of all, number one, 90% chance that nobody ever knows, to Cap's point. He launched a token. He exists. I agree with that.
I would love someone to find it. I don't think you can. This is I want to prove my point here. I don't think anyone who, maybe even people in the war room, can't even find it. And some of them, with a little bit of research, they could make a pretty good educated guess. I'm looking and I can't find my own token this morning if I do it from not connected to my account.
But if you're asking me what a logical next, again, I'm not advising Dingling, but you're asking what a logical platform is to make it more usable and more usable by other people, it's probably going to be creating a profile, and it's probably going to be creating a profile based on tokens launched, tokens collected. Like there is, and maybe not, maybe the whole space is meant to be opaque, and that's helpful and that plays into it. Again, like if you're not doing anything illegal, I'm bearish on people who decide to tell you how to spend your time, money, and energy if you're not doing anything illegal or immoral, which I don't think this is illegal, nor do I think it's immoral. So I think you're right on those accounts. Saying it's not, I'm also not judging anybody who chooses not to launch it for whatever reason. Both of those things are perfectly fine. I think it's funny because we can even move it into another similar discussion. Like, I think like probably worth noting, it's like, there's this discussion, like, so dude put out a picture of a car that was bouncing with the $ dude on it on X the other day. It was a shared post from Doodles, which feels like the dude token is incoming. Doodles have shot up like 10% since then, something like that. I am not going to judge or tell anybody that they shouldn't sell a doodle, shouldn't sell a duplicator, or shouldn't hold to get the token airdrop. All of those things are perfectly okay. And if you're going to tell someone they should or shouldn't do something with their own money, with their own things, when there's this large amount of money at stake, I find that to be somewhat silly. And again, who knows? There's a world where maybe I launch a token. There's a world where maybe I sell my doodle. I don't know what happens or what decision makes.
Still is one word. I would call it hypocritical. To me, it seems like there's a lot of hypocrites in this space who are, they're pointing fingers at someone else and they got 4 right back at them. It's like,
I think it's this. You know what I think it is? I think it's this syndrome where we get this all the time. You'll associate with this one. You'll get it. We have people like, Billy Saskatchewan who will be like, well, if I had that platform, I would do this. And other people will be like, well, if I had a show, I would do this. It's like, well, guess what? You didn't show up for 4 straight years. You don't have those relationships. You don't ask the questions. You don't know what it's like to be in the arena. You don't know what it's like to ask the questions. You don't know what considerations happen. You don't know what conversations happen behind closed doors. And most people actually selectively listen anyway, where it's like, We'll have a morning where we're incredibly critical of someone, and then we'll have an interview where we're incredibly critical in a nice way because we actually want to get an interview. Because guess what? As somebody who is a interviewer who has done this for years and literally was a TV news reporter, you get better sound bites when you ask questions in a way that let them answer honestly instead of attacking them and putting them on their heels. Do you know when you get bad interview? Like LeBron James, when he answers a question after a game, is going to be like, both teams played hard. LeBron James, when he goes on Pat McAfee's show, is letting loose about like how people are judging him and what he really feels because he feels comfortable. So we get these things all the time from random, the peanut gallery who like to throw tomatoes and say things about what I would do. And I think very similarly, people, like Revolve Tokens got it. Everyone's a critic. Exactly. People like to do that. Similarly, there are people who have never been offered a 6-figure airdrop for something like this, myself included, by the way. I'm not a Kaito yapper who's getting offered a 6-figure airdrop, who are telling them how they should act and how they would act if they were given the same opportunity, but they're not. And so I think it's like you have those things where it's like, man, if I was in the NFL, I'd play for free because I love the game so much. Well, you're not, and you don't have the talent, and you didn't work hard your whole life, and you didn't come from the same circumstance. And you get these things all the time where it's like, oh, these baby NBA players who are load management doing stuff. You know who tells them to do that? Their coaches, their teams, their trainers. Like, you have no context. I know somebody who is a trainer for a NBA team, and I can tell you when people got mad at LeBron for load management, it's not LeBron's decision to load management. He could overrule it if he really wanted to, but you also listen to experts who tell you how to maintain your health and where things matter. And I just think there is a lot of like morality that gets pushed around in this space based on people who are not in the same scenario and don't have the same opportunity. Now, does that mean that they're wrong necessarily? No, people could have the right judgment calls, but it is funny when you have people who have these opinions who haven't done anything or haven't been there and are saying, well, if I was in that scenario, well, you're not. And like, sure, there are areas where it's very obvious, but there are areas where it's very not. Joe, I saw you fly up. I know you always come up when you actually have an opinion or something to add on the conversation, which isn't the case for everybody. So I appreciate that. Jill, get in here, GM.
Hey, I just gotta go back to the Pump Boop thing real quick. Pump does give out daily rewards to its users. It's just, and I see this problem in the war room a lot. Pump is not thinking of the degen retail guy as the user. The user is the whale. So yesterday, 220 tokens bonded. So with the glitches that are designed, there was $13.69 million available to its users to pull out. The day before, there was 15.7 plus, there was $17.3 million to its core users to pull out. So Dingling's platform is not signaling to Mev whales. It's signaling to retail. And it's doing that by getting the KOLs to talk to their audience and to basically hand wring over whether or not they should use the platform, which whether or not they launch the token, and they're all going to launch the token, but whether or not they launch the token, the conversation is there, right? Whereas Pump has two targets, Mev whales and people who suffer from dopamine dysregulation. I'm done talking.
It's a good point about the audience as well, because I think like people get lost in this thing where it's like, and Joe brings this up from time to time. I have this conversation sometimes where it's like, people are like, why don't they do this? Or why haven't they introduced this feature? It's like, you need to think about who your audience is and who you're trying to reach and what your business goals are. And it's not always to like, I am not the target audience for like the meme coins to Joe's point. Like, I'm not tossing around large amounts of liquidity and getting the fees going for them. So I think it's important to understand the audience and what people are creating for. And look, I mean, by all accounts, if we could just back up for a second, successful launch by Boop. Marketing tool, got the timeline talking about it, got people to use the product, got people to actually launch tokens, got some people to promote their tokens, is encouraging people to promote their tokens based on their unlock. Like, and it's a nice looking product and it's an easy, a user-friendly product. All those things, great, good, awesome. Like, they want people, to your point, like Kook and not like Cap, who's trying to launch a top secret, super secret token. How that manifests itself in the future, I don't know. But it's just, again, not judging anybody who does anything based on anything. Joe, go ahead and get back in here.
But Joe, how did you mentioned the
I'm
15
not
million? Like, how
explaining
do
it
they
to you
reward
again, Joey. I've tried 2 times in the war room, man. I'm not doing it.
me in the about
Yes,
the
yes,
Pump.fun
yes,
rewards?
yes. I've tried to explain the glitch. Really quick. So it doesn't matter what your claim is. The money has to be in the pool. That's going to be the challenge. Is there enough money in the pool? Because there's a crack in the bottom of that pool. It's really funny to watch people not understand token, but I would just say claim your money and fucking sell it. You can always come back and get more. It'll go down. So take your money and don't be the one who joins another community, because you guys have enough communities. That's all.
I'm community out. I got plenty of communities. I'm all community out. And yeah, I mean, like, to me, it's like, honestly, like, again, like, this is why I'm saying it's not a morality issue. It's I never want to do this thing. Like, if the money was more, I might do it. If it was an instant claim, I might do. I don't know, but I know that waiting 30 days and the risk profile of that token going significantly backwards, it's like probably not worth it. I have, and I think, like I said, I think people are underestimating that there are a lot of people who just talk about crypto stuff, who just enjoy being here, who have made the commentary of, I'm never launching a token, I never want to launch a token, who are now sitting here saying, I don't want to launch a token, not my journey. And now they're in the position where they're deciding if they're going to launch a token. And I understand the consternation there from people who are deciding on that. Like, and I think us judging them one way or the other from the sideline isn't useful and isn't productive and doesn't help, because we don't know what somebody like FFV's on stage. And I don't know if FFV, if you want to give a perspective on this, you're a much bigger KOL than me on the Yap side of things. You're an important person in that sense. You have a much bigger claim than I do. Can you talk me through what you're looking at when you see that claim come out?
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me up, by the way. Dude, that Boop thing was actually such an eye opener for me, just throughout the journey too. First of all, I just want to mention that Jesse Pollack was early, bro. I mean, like, this is basically like the content creation coin thing, like coin everything, but it's just messages in a different way. You know what I mean? Instead of like it being for everybody, this was only for a few KOLs. You know what I mean? And I saw that shit and I was like, damn, dude, Jesse might have been too early, or the marketing was just wrong. But anyways, dude, it's just crazy to me because, like, I used to be on the other side of this where I was just like, dude, fucking, it's only an influencer thing. These things are rigged, man. Like, I was one of those people for sure. And I got put up into this situation with the Boop thing, and I posted about it. And it was the first time I commented. It was the first time where I actually got some, like, people mad at me, for like people that I fucked with heavily throughout the years, mad at me because, like, I was thinking about launching this token to claim my thing. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? And then I started remembering what it was like for me back in the day. I was like, damn, dude, like, this is actually crazy for me, seeing this perspective. But me and this one particular guy, Hash, he's super cool guy. He was mentioning to me that, it's not necessarily that, like, us KOLs are getting all this good shit or whatever. It's just like basically him like saying, dude, like, TLDR, dude, I'm not a meme coiner person. I barely trade memes. And for someone like me, as an heavy NFT person, getting rewarded in meme coin land gets a lot of meme coin traders, trenchers, kind of upset, feeling left out, feeling like, yo, like, what the fuck? Like, I'm actually going to be using your platform. I'm going to be the one doing these things on their platform. And I was like, yeah, I get it. For sure. I get that for sure. That argument for sure, 100%. And then I was asking him, like, I get it for sure. But, like, without people getting or gaining attention to these products or things, how are builders, supposed to get attention to the things? Because builders, dude, they're not really on here yapping away on X or things along those lines. They're building products. They're doing things to contribute to the space. And if they don't have anyone to show this to or get this out there, how are they going to get rewarded for their contribution? It's just like a crazy dilemma, 50-50. yes and no, the shoelace without the shoe kind of a thing. You know what I mean? What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, like, I actually think, like, first of all, like, love you taking us through the journey in that way and, like, hearing kind of the way you thought about it. Number two, that is interesting because, like, it goes a little bit to, I mean, Cav, we've had this discussion about NFT communities where NFT communities oftentimes empower creators. Man, I'm not going to go the direction I went last night. I had a conversation with Dawn that was very similar to this, but it's probably not for air. But NFT communities tend to lean very heavily into that creator group, right? That group of, like, you know, 10 to 12 really strong creators. And you have communities saying, I mean, like we said it on this show, look, we're Bored Ape Yacht Club guys. We like Bored Ape Yacht Club. We know multiple people who literally sold apes because of partnerships they had done at one point, right? Like, and I'm not like saying that as a disparaging way or anything like that. Like, it's not like, you know, necessarily it was a bad partnership or anything like that. So it's not my judgment call. It's just a bad partnership can make people say, hey, like, I know people who are in the Pudgy Penguins community who feel like they're ignored by, like, the leadership in some ways. I know people in, you know, the ape community. I know people in the, you know, you name it community, Doodles community, like, at times. So I think when people say, like, they concentrate on the KOLs over the community people, I think it's interesting. I think it's different, though, because I wonder if there's a way for them to do this airdrop based on transaction, because they did have the wallet connect based on volume.
So they did both. The more we talk through this is I'm getting more and more bullish on Boop. If I didn't know there was such tremendous sell pressure, I'm probably a buyer of the token. I'm not going to buy it right now because
30 days, that thing is flying down.
There's a tremendous sell pressure coming soon. So, but from an execution standpoint, hearing Joe, like, I think it's a pretty brilliant strategy in the sense that there are different users in this space. Joe just described, like, Dingling didn't go attempt to vampire attack the MEV whales. They're vampire attacking the retail traders. They're going after two pretty distinct different demographics in crypto. And we'll go back to FFE because I saw the hand, and then I'm excited to get to Mini Mimi here in a sec because I think the other is going to be a great counter to this, and respectfully disagree, I think, because I just based on looking at his timeline, thought that the launch was bad and thinks that they should be going after the traders, not the KOL people. I think that they have a much better chance of.
They did their own Kaito thing. They did their own Kaito. They made their own Kaito.
Better chance of acquiring and retaining users by going the attention route, as opposed to, like, think about it. If Ding does this the other way, and he goes and attempts to take those users who are getting rewarded by Pump.fun, if he goes and attempts to vampire attack the MEV whales, those people aren't talking about it on the timeline. The whales may move over, but, you know, in the metrics might look good, but there's no attention in the thing. Quickly, people forget about it, move on to the next shiny thing. Here, he executed this way. The entire space has been talking about it for 24 hours. I think they're going to continue to talk about it. And you don't need every KOL to get on board. But if you get a few, all of a sudden,
it's a launch plan. They had a launch plan. It's that simple.
It's a good launch plan. Like, it's different. It's an innovative launch. You may not like it. You may think it's disgusting. You may think it's bad, like, in terms of, like, morally or something. But as far as it's the token's most likely going to zero. 24 hours in, it's a $350 million market cap. Can't remember the last time we saw something $350 million 24 hours in. Like, not bad. But I did not expect it to be 350 this morning when I woke up. I'll just say that.
Yeah. So I think I'll go back to FFV here in a second, but I think that's it. I think there's, like, so many conversations that need to be compartmentalized here, which is, one, you know, the people who are getting the airdrop. Two, the fact that it was a smart launch plan. Three, the audience who they're going after. Four, how they could evolve the platform moving forward. Five, like, the morality of this whole thing. And if people think there's a moral, like, you know, judgment call here, I do not, but other people do. I think there's so many different conversations. And I think that's why it's important to, like, be very thoughtful about how we address each one and not conflate them and overlap them. Because one of the things about sort of debate and discussion that drives me nuts is I don't know that people do it intentionally or they're trying to make a point, but, you know, you'll be having a conversation, you'll hone in on one particular part of the point, like FFV did here, and then someone will, like, pivot it back to the morality conversation. It's like, well, hold on. Let's stay on this point. Let's get an agreed upon point, and then let's move to the next clear point, because the only way to have intelligent discourse and debate, maybe this is why I'm a moderator. I enjoy moderating so much, is to make sure you segment those parts of the discussion. And people who are intellectually honest will realize that most things aren't black and white on one side. And there are a concession of points in each one where you might say, I disagree with the morality of it, but I understand the launch plan. Or I understand the fact that there's no morality issue with it, but I don't like the KOLs are getting the big distros. All of those things are okay, but I think it's important to discuss that as a well-rounded discussion about what people like and don't like versus just digging in on one thing and then kind of like throwing a bunch of random stuff out at it unless you absolutely hate everything. But FFV, go ahead and get back in here.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is just a great discussion just to really talk about, both ends of the stick, but, I don't know if you guys saw when you connect to, when you try to connect your X profile and stuff like that, there's a button above it that says, connect your wallet. Now, I was just like confused because I didn't know which one to connect first, and it made you connect your social wallet first, right? So what I'm thinking is that, and this is just coming out my ass too, but what I'm thinking is that like their plan was to show off the KOL side. We're going to be definitely making the biggest buzz out there, the biggest noises, whatever. And then, get people talking about it, get people happy, mad, whatever, everything that's going on right now. And then go live with rewarding the actual trenchers of this place. You know what I mean? The people that have been actually doing this and, just setting up, just been playing meme coins throughout the years and stuff like that. And then rolling that marketing part out, because the KOL side is going to be a lot more noisier. And then I think the degen side of that being rewarded will just put gasoline on fire. One last thing too, man, is that it was very interesting to me to see, depending on who you are and what kind of brand you set yourself up in this space, you got very different responses. Steve posted something that I posted yesterday about the type of brand that I made. I had some people, telling me to take it, all these things and all nice things. And while I'll go search other accounts, and man, dude, those other accounts, they would get bodied, bro. Like, oh, dude, I knew you would do this. I fucking knew it. This was you all the time. It's just crazy to see the different responses the community has towards different types of people here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Totally agree. I think that it's just interesting to go through that and see. Well, it's also like your vibe attracts your tribe, man. Like, I think that's important to know. Like, it's like, I don't know. Like, I see someone like FFV. I was staying in the war room. I was like, genuine guy, one of my favorite people to hang out with, good ass dude. Like, it's like you launch a token, Cap launches a token. You do it like slowly or quietly without anybody noticing because you want to claim an airdrop. Good. Like, go for it. Get the cash. I support you. And it's just, me talking through my personal dilemma on a personal level is not a judgment call. Like, I think sometimes people also like Cap and FFV aren't doing this. And we'll get to Mini Mimi in a second here. But like, I think people sometimes project themselves onto you or, take offense to things that aren't about them, where it's like, I will say that like, I may not do it. And here are the reasons why. And someone's like, what are you saying? I'm a bad person. I'm like, nope, don't think that. Not about you. It's about me and what I decide to do and what my own personal decisions are. And it's like, I don't know, if I'm taking a position at a large company in the future, or I have a large podcast, or Coffee with Captain blows up and I don't want to be the person who, like, whatever those reasons are personally for me, right? And I make that decision based on who I am, based on the discussions that I have, based on what it's like, that's fine. It doesn't mean it's for everybody. Just like, not everybody owns a Bored Ape. Some people think I'm incredibly stupid for holding a Bored Ape at this price even. Some people think I'm stupid for holding a doodle. Some people think I'm stupid for holding a little penguin. Some people think I'm stupid for holding Pengu. Some people think I'm stupid for holding Bitcoin. Like, it's my own decision that I make. And I think it's important to have these larger, broader discussions about what's right for each individual person. And what's right for me might be different than what's right for someone else. And I think that's fine. And we don't need to make it deeper than it is. I think if you're discussing it in good faith, there's an adage. Like, one of the things that I had this switch flip on in the past probably 2 years, because I don't have a massive platform. I'm small. I've talked to my brother about this before, though, who has a platform 10x, if not larger than that than me, is if somebody does it genuinely care about your well-being, or is it genuinely trying to help you improve? Like, probably not worth listening to them. Sure, there's critiques that matter or whatever if someone's making a genuine critique, but like, what is the goal of this person who is commenting or telling you something? Like, why are they doing it? And when you start analyzing and understanding that, it changes a lot who you listen to, where it's like, I have my own personal board of directors, I call it, where I have a group of people. I have something big going on right now. I'm going to talk to Capt about it today. I'm going to talk to Scott about it today. I've talked to Dawn about it. Like, I have my own personal board of directors with something big going on in my life, potentially, that I'm thinking about, a big decision. And I go to my own personal board of directors because they're going to give me an honest take. Bunch of people like that, that matters to me. So I think it's important to understand that aspect of it versus like just listening to the timeline and the noise sometimes. Mini Mimi, I saw your hand fly up as well. Go ahead and get in here and give us any sort of thoughts on that, GM.
GM, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, good. Yeah, it's been a while. This is Kenny. Hey, used to be Hurt Me.
Has been forever,
Hey,
man.
how's it
How are
going?
you? Good to hear you. I was like, this voice sounds familiar.
Yo, Kenny, that makes sense. I was like, I follow this person. They follow me. Good to have you up here.
Yeah, it's been a while, but I finally started switching up my PFP a while ago and changed my username just because I was a goat and Hurt Me forever, but finally it's like, you gotta change with the times. Anyway, on this, I first want to correct something, or at least be educated and understand it a little bit, because a few times people said, hey, you connected your Phantom wallet, so the drop was based on like trading activity, and I don't think that's correct. I know in the OG Discord, Sugar Shane, Phonics, myself are just three people that I consider above average meme coin traders that didn't get a single boop. So, and I believe
what would they base the wallet activity on then?
I believe Sugar Shane found a post, and I don't know if this is correct, but he said that the airdrop was only for staking Kaito or holding the Kaito NFT, and that's what they based trading activity on.
I don't know about that, because I don't hold any Kaito. I don't stake any single Kaito either.
I do stake Kaito, but it is not tied to my Phantom wallet whatsoever. So that couldn't be it.
Is it because you traded on Photon or something else that's not directly tied to your wallet? So there's like a issue there?
I mean, it could be, but I don't trade on Photon. I mainly use Jupiter. And like again, if it's talking Sugar Shane, Phonics, and myself, it's just a small sample size. I mean, those guys are pretty big traders. I mean, if to completely miss all of us seems a little odd.
That is odd. Far more than me. Like, all of you trade far more than me, and I think my DGen wallet was like $200 worth of. It was 800 boop.
Right. So I guess I'd be curious if anybody could find out because I hadn't seen it anywhere. What was the trading activity that they tracked? And then also because of missing us three, I'd be curious the actual number of people that actually got an airdrop, because I'm guessing it's pretty low compared to things in the past, which would also make sense, because if you're going to give massive airdrops on the upper end, then you're probably not able to give as many airdrops on the low end, which again makes it so I thought it was pretty interesting, since this is my interpretation of it all. It's like, man, it seems like most people didn't get an airdrop, so they're kind of ignoring the retail trader.
What's the biggest one we've seen? Does anyone know?
For the K? Oh, sorry.
What's the biggest trader airdrop we've seen? Like, everything I've seen on the timeline, the six-figure ones, the big numbers, are all on the Kaito, the KOL side. What do you have any guesses or any idea of, like, if you've seen a screenshot of I got X from my wallet, my DGen wallet?
Yeah, again, I have no idea, because it seems blended to me. Like when Easy posted like he was tier 1, I was assuming that was like blended, but I guess maybe they're completely separate.
Yeah, entirely separate. You actually have to, you can't even link both at the same time. You have to disconnect your wallet to connect your X account, or you have to disconnect your X account to connect your wallet. Yeah, you can't even open one of the claims when you have the other account connected.
Okay, so yeah, I would love if anybody could find when you connected your Phantom wallet, what is it? What was it based on? Because I don't know hardly anybody that got drops from their Phantom wallet. Although I think you did, Captain, right? And again, that's why we're thinking it had to come from Kaito. or Kaito, however you pronounce it. But anyway, so it was interesting to me because my interpretation is like, yeah, they're the kind of lower end didn't get hardly anything from this airdrop. And so when Joe came up and said it was for retail, by the way, hey, Joe, my youngest just decided he's going to follow his brother to Miami. So I will be at Art Basel for at least 4 more years in a row.
Awesome.
But when Joe said it was for, retail, I was like, no, man, I totally disagree. But then he went on to say, they're going after retail through the KOLs, which I don't think's going to be too successful. I mean, granted, it's early, but I mean, if you look, most of these KOLs launched a token with like, hey, don't buy me. I'm just doing it to get my claim. I don't think the KOLs are going to be like, not that they launch tokens anyway. They more just push tokens that are launched by bots. But
yeah, but I think what will get the attention is they're going to be like it's not just going to go in and out of the zeitgeist today. Like this is going to be talked about for probably the next month. You're going to have some of these KOLs that are going to be promoting it. And I think what will happen over the next 30 days is, yeah, maybe the MEV whales never move over. But I would imagine that the retail creators, those are out there that are like, when someone tomorrow decide they want to launch a meme coin because there's some new viral meme on X, I think that individual that's not a whale is probably much more likely to do that on Boop than they are on Pump.fun. Because if it bonds, now all of a sudden they might get $3,500 just because of the rev share. Like there's so much money going to those end users that, yeah, it's not $10 million, but I just think that's the demographics are starkly different demographics when you're talking MEV whale versus your average person that's creating a meme coin. So I think where they win is the KOLs will keep the attention on it and get the users over there, because they're not going to, if they're creating a meme coin, it's not going to have to go to $100 million for them to have a win. Like if it just bonds there, it's probably a really big win for those people creating these things.
Yeah, I mean, I love the flywheel, and interestingly enough, most people I don't think are following the arena or Stars Arena, but next week they're basically launching the same thing, where kind of their champions are going to share for all the token launcher that they're launching. We'll get rev share from the token launcher, so it's pretty interesting. But
like just right now in the next, so this period, I'll just share this. So there's list. Go ahead. I'll go right back to you.
You're about to, you're about to. Oh, sorry, but you're about to probably quote the number about how much money is being shared.
Yep.
And it's probably as large as it's ever going to be. Well, I shouldn't say that, but I would think the first day would have had the biggest pumps. But if you look, there's only 5 tokens that are over 200,000 market cap, and only I think 1, because I think Kooks just now fell below 1 million, so only 1 over 1 million. I mean, we'll see.
But my point is, they don't have to get $1 million to $1 million. Like to participate in the rewards. Right now, it's a million Boop per day. So right now, at the current market cap, that's $360,000. Any creator that graduates a token, they get a share of that. So right now, there's only 20 that have graduated. This period goes for another 19 hours. If no more graduate, that's $18,000 per person just for getting a token to graduate. Like, why? Like, again, this is a serious question. Knowing this is available for at least the next 30 days, if you're not a whale, why would you launch on Pump.fun? Why would you create it? Like, tomorrow there's a new viral meme. Why in the world, when all you have to do is get it to graduate and you might get an extra $18,000? Like these daily rewards are insane for a onesie, twosie. Anyone can go do this. Anyone can create a token. It's not anyone can get one to graduate, but like there's no gating here. There's no, like, I don't know. I think this seems like a really big deal to me.
And you might be right. I'm wrong about a lot of things, so we'll see. But and I don't know who. I mean, the tokens it's just bots. I think mostly that are that are the successful token launcher just through sheer volume, because it's just such luck. Like, there's probably going to be a Star Wars token that takes off because we're almost here to May the 4th. And if you like search for Star Wars or May the 4th, I mean, there's already dozens and dozens out there. Now, one of them's going to catch, but it's if you're just a single person out there trying to do it, on your own, it's just frustrating and almost impossible to be successful at it, in my opinion.
I also be careful because I think I would think could be gamed very easily. I would imagine it would take more than 18 grand to get a token to bond, but I would imagine you're probably going to see a lot bond and then dump on people's heads very quickly because like just so they can get in that pool. I think you'll probably see a lot of tokens bond and then almost instantly go to zero. And the people are just going to be playing this game to attempt to get into the bonding pool to get their share of the million boop.
Anyway, good talking as always. And yeah, if anybody we could find out what the qualifications were for the Phantom wallet, I would be curious to know.
Yeah. Don't know the answer.
Don't drop in the chat.
Don't know the answer. And I mean, I feel it. I think it's interesting. I think that is to me the real interesting point here that you're making is like who they're rewarding, especially with that when you saw like Shane and other people didn't get it. So who knows, but potentially opportunity there for them. More people actually jumping on this craze, by the way. I can't remember what I said earlier, but there's now 210 out of the 300 spots left in my bracket range on that number, which, by the way, my airdrop payment has gone up based on that number in the recent days. So, you know, if I launched yesterday, I'd be counting down 29, but I don't know. It you know, watch what happens is like the day before in a completely unrelated note, the like tariffs get ramped up, they raise rates for some reason, and then this token goes to like, you know, zero basically in a straight line would be a funny outcome. Not rooting for that, hoping everybody makes all their money off this thing. But that said, I do want to go to, you know, didn't know we were going to go this long on it. excuse me. Let's go ahead and hit The More You Know by ENS.
The More You Know, brought to you by ENS.
It's time for The More You Know, brought to you by ENS. We talked about Dingaling here a second ago, and Dingaling, who launched this platform, isn't just a whale. He's a force of nature in the NFT ecosystem. His portfolio reads like a greatest hits of Web3. Over 100 Bored Apes, 98 Mutants, 110 Kennel Clubs, and more than 70 Azukis, including a whole lot of Grails. He's stacked with Pudgy Penguins, Meebits, and a handful, just a smattering, of CryptoPunks. But he's not just about holding. He moves markets. When he swept, this is a fun one to look like. This is where ChatGPT helps you out. When he swept, I was like, what is a weird thing Dingling's got involved in? When he swept 40 Weirdo Ghost Gang NFTs for about 20 ETH, the floor surged 63% overnight. His early conviction in projects like NBA Top Shot and CryptoKitty set the tone for his high-risk, high-reward strategy. He's also airdrop royalty, claiming nearly $1.4 million in ape token, worth over $10 million at the time of claiming, thanks to his Yuga Labs holdings. Now, with the launch of Boop, Dingaling is flipping the script, turning from a collector to a builder. It's not just a token platform. It's a signal that the meta is shifting, and Dingaling is once again trying to jump on and stay ahead of the curve. And that was The More You Know, brought to you by ENS. ENS does more than you know, not just anchoring your name across Web3, but anchoring it across the internet. It's your identity, simple, memorable, and unmistakably yours. Security, interoperability, and ease of use. Go to ens.domains to learn more and secure your ENS domain. But no, it's an interesting, it's an interesting conversation for sure. I think it will continue to evolve. And I'm not going to judge people who are doing what they're doing. Like I said, I don't know my plan. Today's probably the last day I would even consider it if I wanted to do anything, because after this day, I'm not getting myself into the 40, 50, all these different day lockups and how it goes. So I don't want to wait for that. But yeah, it's an interesting, I don't know. It's an interesting conversation for sure. Cap, I know we have about 15 minutes left. I think we can punch because dude's going to be in the future as well. Clanos, I think maybe we should just get the team on and have the conversation.
I did pin up the letter from Andrew up top, and then embedded in that quote tweeted is the announcement from yesterday.
Yeah, but I will say, Von Frenton said we should get a bigger airdrop for this token alone. Yeah, we need Kaito to get spaces going on that sort of thing. But I think Kaito is the interesting thing here, because I continue to say Kaito is what it is. And I think people are fooling themselves if otherwise. It is a great marketing tool. I don't know that the info is as actionable, at least at current state, as you could find from other things that would exist. I think it's a great marketing tool. I might get more involved in the Kaito streets based on this. In fact, based on it, because again, I'm not a Kaito. People think when I like, they act like when you say Kaito is a good marketing platform, that you're like talking shit about it. That's what their business model is. It's like being like, well, Facebook's this social network that connects people. It's a data platform that sells ads. That's okay. It provides a service to people through doing that. Kaito provides a service to these blockchains and these projects, and now it becomes more powerful. It could be the main character of this cycle.
I think it's yes. Are they in the business of marketing? Are they a marketing platform? Yes. The bold take I'll say, Steve, is I think they've quickly become the top, maybe unrivaled right now, in terms of the best Web3 agency.
I think probably, right?
Like, I don't know any other agency that's getting I think they've probably taken more $100,000 plus checks from protocols and chains and builders in this space than any other Web3 agency in all of crypto, would be my guess.
Yeah.
And they're just getting started.
And
it's like where people are going. Like if you were launching a platform, a protocol, maybe it doesn't make sense. Maybe the math doesn't math and you're not going to drop the 100K. But you absolutely have to have the conversation with them, no? Like their inbound has to be insane right now. Everyone's talking to Kaito who's launching anything in this space, I would imagine.
You have to. And I think a lot of people, like, it's this weird nuanced conversation where it's like saying Kaito is a big fancy marketing platform is different than saying like Kaito is bad. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's bad for Kaito. I think they're doing a tremendous job at what they do. This is an eye-opener, though, because this was a Kaito situation where it wasn't. Now, again, maybe it's a new product and a new way they're doing it. This is a very new Kaito situation where they're having you connect the Kaito to get I could potentially be paid $7,000 by a platform that is not Kaito for activity that Kaito has tracked on X. I only think it's going to get bigger and better. It's encouraging. I hope it's going to encourage the wrong type of behavior from certain people. And by that, I don't.
Well, from certain people, okay. Because what is it? It's encouraging. Like, I know I've said this before. I have to put out more written content. I show up every day. I put out content 5 days a week, minimum. But today, maybe they change the future. Right now, the 10 hours plus that we put out every single week gets us nothing in the eyes of Kaito. Like, we're providing zero value to the space in Kaito's eyes. And yet someone who puts out one thread that gets 5,000 impressions in the eyes of Kaito, that's more valuable than what we do. Maybe it is. I don't know. But it's just like, I'm not going to bitch about not being incorporated or included because of our, it's audio versus text. I'm just going to adapt. And now it's actually cost me money by not doing the thing I said I was going to do and put out more posts.
Exactly. And I think that's like the thing where it's like, to me, like I looked at it as I wish Kaito had a way to introduce spaces. Like, I think that would be a great innovation because it is a big part of crypto Twitter and it is a huge part, and it would only make a lot of people more, there are different, sort of. And
maybe we are having the conversation if you're going to claim a $200,000 to $400,000 airdrop.
We're having the conversation if they include spaces, because if they included spaces in Kaito, I would be significantly higher up in Kaito, because this is where I spend my morning. I don't tweet during the morning. I'm not, GMing as often. I'm doing this. And if this was included 5 days a week, whole different ballgame, right? Like then I have to have a really big thought about it, because I guarantee you our airdrop will be higher because we're doing, what's
maybe
that?
At least tier 2. Maybe not tier 1. I don't know, but I almost certainly tier 2. So you're talking a couple $100,000.
And I think first of all, the fact that they don't have like a super spaces like thing in Kaito is a miss. Like, that is a huge miss because it is hard.
Dude, Spaces dashboard just was in the chat yesterday. Andrew, the founder over there at Spaces dashboard, was tagging me about something they're building in the chat yesterday. That needs to be who Kaito acquires. They need to go build it, or they need to acquire one of these one of these companies is
the
tracking.
challenge is, how do you do listening to make sure it's not gamed, right? Like the same way Kaito tries to remove bad information, it's easier to remove spam tweets than it is if somebody just goes on and they're just like,
just turns on spam.
polka dot somnia, polka dot somnia, polka dot somnia, polka dot somnia. And then they put it out there and it's like, oh man, you're much higher in that leaderboard because you had a big space. And like, you literally just break in the space to say those words 27 times and then you're done. And then you're higher in the leaderboard. That doesn't feel like a good optimal situation to me. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting. I think it's a platform that I'm now going to. I should be using Kaito more because I actually can use it authentically, and it's just a bad job out of me. I talk about the things that I'm interested in. I should get interested in more things. I think this is an eye opener on more so than some of the other things, because like the token drops, like Kaito biffed that one, whatever the Wayfinder one got biffed up. It wasn't Kaito's fault, but like that was a big disaster. And you know, we've had some good ones and some bad ones. People just straight using the Kaito score is a game changer, though. And that makes a difference. I do think it's going to encourage some people. Like I said, it's a marketing tool. A lot of people are going to talk about protocols they don't care about. They're going to do well. Congratulations. Get your airdrop. And then never talk about them again. There are people who are going to get rewarded in the ecosystem. There are people who are going to try to get higher on the Kaito leaderboard by doing their engagement farming and things like that. I don't want to become a slave to the algorithm, but it's made me more, I should be paying attention to those specific leaderboards, because this was an eye opener that is a pretty big one when you see it. Whether I would have claimed it or not is a whole different discussion. So, yeah, man, I don't know. It's interesting. I've never not been bullish on Kaito as a marketing tool. It's like I said, I was bullish on Facebook before anybody knew it was a data tool. When Facebook stock was $30 and everyone was like, this platform sucks, I can't believe they went public. And my answer was, I kid you not, I had a conversation with an analyst at Progressive where I said, they're a data platform that could sell your data for the rest of time. Like, I cannot believe that they are not going to be higher based on the ads they can sell and the reach they have. And sure enough, like that stock, like 5x'd in short order. And, you know, I sold, which 5x in crypto may not seem like much, but in stocks, it was a pretty parabolic move. And I think, you know, Kaito is everything Kaito does. They're getting more data, more information. And every time someone goes with them and sees a success story, why wouldn't they? Until they have stories about diminishing returns from clients, I don't know why they wouldn't continue to thrive in that way. And again, like it's just this weird conversation where it's like, if you imply that Kaito's info is probably not clean data right now, people get really mad at you. It's like, I don't think it's clean data. They're getting data, though, on how the data they're getting is not necessarily useful or actionable for the blockchains or the people that use them, but it certainly is actionable for Kaito in how they can continue to refine their product.
I think there's some use there. It's definitely not perfect data. It's not clean data, but I think it's better than no data.
Is it worth $100,000 worth of data? No, you're paying for the promotion.
Yes.
That's why.
Yes.
That's my point. Like, you wouldn't pay $100,000 for InfoFi. Like, you're not handing them a six-figure check to be like, you're going to get me all the information on the people using my ecosystem. Like, the way that I talked about content coins yesterday, where I was like, look, based on what Jesse said, think about the idea of, you had a Mr. Beast video you liked in 2008, so now you get access to products, or a Taylor Swift song that you coined and you bought and collected back in 2004, and now she lets you get concert tickets early. That's data that's useful. Like, that is useful data about early collectors, early people who supported you, all those things. You're not paying $100,000+ for this data. You're paying $100,000 for the marketing, and maybe it gets a little data insight in there, and that's nice.
Yep.
Kaito is collecting meaningful data off this based on the people they use, the interactions. Kaito is basically, what they are doing is they're collecting data the same way Instagram collects data to get you to decide that they're going to serve you another thirst trap or creatine gummy ad in your feeds, because they know what that is. That is what Kaito is doing. They know exactly what to do to get you to jump and say how high. They say jump, you say how high. They know that data. They're getting meaningful data in that way, more so than the platforms are. Now, again, that's not to say platforms can't get some meaningful data from it. It's not what you're paying for. So, I don't know. I'll change my mind if we get a look at the platform and that changes, but that's my perspective.
I think they could do more with it. I think it's probably first inning for them, and I'm rooting for them. I do. I genuinely think that they're become the top Web3 marketing agency. And I think part of the way they, maybe it's just a meme. Maybe it's just the InfoFi thing is just a narrative that allowed them to get to the top of that mountain. but I do think there's more they could unlock in the future. I think there's something there that they really could do something with the information. But yeah, today it's really pumping Kaito's bag. And the reality is they're providing a good, valuable service because these brands, these protocols, they keep lining up to stroke those checks to participate. So, and it's not just cutting the Kaito check, they're earmarking a lot of it's 6 figures a month that they're giving. They're leveraging Kaito to help them find their, who should we reward? Who should we pay these incentives out to? So yeah, I don't know. I like it. I agree with you. It's info by itself is not certainly not in its final form, and I don't think anyone's paying $100K for the info they're getting. But the attention they're getting, I think many seem to think it's worthwhile or worth the price of admission. And we don't have time to get into it today. A couple other things real quick passing, Steve. I saw the Kleinos are moving to Sui and they're launching a new 25,000 collection. I did not see until just now that they announced their own TV show, 40 episodes, 7 minutes each, straight to YouTube, then streaming and broadcast, launch partner details at the end of May. I missed that in the announcement yesterday. So I pinned that up top. And then we talked about Epic and the Apple thing yesterday in passing. Just pinned up another post from Super Woj. It's a excerpt from the Apple app guidelines. NFTs, crypto payments now allowed in iOS apps. Pretty big deal.
Pretty big deal, for sure. Number one, especially with what's going on with Epic, like you said, like pretty big deal.
We may actually get a consumer app now. Like we might actually get a consumer crypto app now that we have distribution.
Yeah, I think the Kleinos thing is interesting. So it's not they're moving to Sui. They are launching another collection on Sui. They think it's going to be more compatible. So Kleinos is basically launching. So Kleinos later in 2025, they're launching their first mobile game rollout for iOS and Android. Eventually will be available on the Sui Play X01 gaming handheld. The game promises real-time creature battles and rich world building, but the blockchain layer will be completely abstracted for casual players, with gameplay designed to appeal to non-Web3 users while still integrating Web3 mechanics behind the scenes. Kleinosaurus continues to do things right, from my opinion. I really like the way they're doing. They have a whole collector score that they're putting together. By the way, shout out to Erica Lee for her write-up on this. Decrypt, love Erica. She's great. I think like Kleinos, they're doing a collector score. People are collecting sets. They're doing their thing. I really think being on Solana is like it's a bug for them. Like, I don't know, like maybe it's just in our world. I feel like they don't get talked about as much. They don't get brought up as much. I do think launching another collection, whether it's tied to the game or not, makes sense because a lot of people can't afford that Kleinosaur at the moment. And so it's a high price one because people love the Kleinos. I don't know. So I think shout out to the Kleinosaurus team for continuing to build pretty cool stuff. And yeah, the Apple with the App Store ruling, with the Epic Games discussion, and with the discussion around crypto dApps, like bullish for getting crypto more in the hands of consumers in ways where the blockchain is the underlying technology and it just makes a better product. So I agree with you there.
Yeah. Excited for all this stuff. Like I said earlier, it does feel like an incredible time to be here. We haven't even talked about the UI on Boop. Like Privy has, it's changed things. Like my experience with Boop and my experience with Zed Champions have been much more akin to Web 2 account creation than to Web 3 account creation. That's a win. We're talking consumer apps. We're talking expanding outside of our bubble here. The combination of the tech getting to a point where, for all intents and purposes, there's no excuses. If someone wants, like, you can build something that looks and feels very much like a Web 2 application that people are very familiar with. They can sign in with their email. That all like it's there today. You combine that with the ability to tap into something like the Apple App Store and arguably the greatest distribution for digital app of all time. My conviction grows in the space, whether it's on-chain gaming or just like I know we spent a lot of time talking about meme coin launchers and the degenerate part of the space. I don't want to get lost in the Boop conversation. We've moved leaps and bounds. I want to say in like the last 12 months, even in terms of making this stuff look and feel like a Web 2 interface.
Yeah, no, it's honestly like, that's like, again, people are so like, they get so caught up in like everything's a scam and crypto's this and blah, blah. It's like, I think people sometimes like miss the plot on like one of the reasons why things sucked a few years ago.
Excuse me, sorry to interrupt. Not only did I create like the Privy account for the account creation was so simple, I actually did load some funds on there using a debit card. Like the whole thing took seconds. Like it was as easy as creating a DraftKings account and loading some funds on there.
Yeah, it's. I mean, that's what
they nailed it.
And that's kind of my point. Is like, I think that people lose the plot when they're like, oh, Web3, it's just a bunch of scammy shit. And like, oh, like it was hard to use and no users are using this tech. And look, we all do it where we talk about the tech and where people aren't using it and what people are using. The reason why people weren't like, the tech wasn't well built a few years ago is it was freaking early. You had to bridge on Polygon and you had to like, we said a million times, like nobody's going to load money into a Coinbase, wait for that Coinbase money to clear, send that money over to a MetaMask, get the MetaMask, remember a 24-word seed phrase, connect that MetaMask, switch, to the different network, go across the Polygon bridge, get set up on Zed and, make sure you switch, chains when you use it. Like, it's like, you're going to hold something in your hand that auto switches chains, that auto recognizes, that cross swaps really easily. We just weren't there yet. We've been witnessing it. And this is how technology iterates across every iteration of technology we've ever had since the beginning of time. Like, technology isn't a straight line. Like it's like people don't realize that the internet like used to dial up and like go and make noises. And like, even when that happened, you had to find a server to connect to. So AOL would get overloaded and it would try to connect and do that sound like 56 times. Remember when it would take like 20 minutes, half hour just to get online? It was like worse than waiting for a Zed run race back in the day. It's like you would wait 30 minutes to get online just to use the internet so that you could download a picture, which would take you 20 minutes to download a picture. Now it's like, if my Amazon doesn't show up the same day or the next day, I'm like, what is this, communist China? Like, people get mad. Like, it's like, is this prison? No, it's not. It's just, this is how we've gotten to expect technology. But like, we lose the plot on technology moves slowly sometimes, quicker to most people, slowly to those who are involved in it. And now we finally have situations where cleanosaurs are talking about abstracting the technology. You're able to use credit cards and things like Privy. BZ, one of our sponsors, is using things where you can just get money on the platform real quick and bring it from all sorts of places and use different coins to buy and sell things. It's like, this is the direction things go. And I think people who are like critics oftentimes don't have grace for how it came. Like, they'll be like, oh, well, the technology I use now is so awesome. It's like, yeah, bozo, did you use the 10 iterations before that? Like, your iPhone's great. But if you had looked at like a Zach Moore's phone and said, exactly like the McKinsey study did, by the way, if you look at Zach Moore's phone and you say, there's no towers and infrastructure, it's way too expensive. Who's even going to use this? Maybe traveling salesmen. It's pointless. Who's going to use the credit card? Cash is king. The infrastructure's not there. The fees are high. All of these things that you're saying about crypto and Web3 is the same things people have said about the internet, the same things people have said about cell phones, the same thing people have said about credit cards, and every other iteration of technology. Now, it doesn't mean that Web3 is going to change the world or it's the selling point, but I think, like, as we talk about this, I always get frustrated with people who try to bring up moments in time and be like, who's using this thing? And then I talk about what it led to, or they're like, oh, Bored Apes are just a bunch of scammers. Then I talk about some of the first innovative things they did and what it's led to. And they're like, yeah, but what are they doing now? Or what happened? It's like, you don't get to erase the process. Like, making fun of me because I'm not in the same shape I was when I was running 7 miles, sub 8:30 a mile, like, sub 8 minutes a mile at times. Like, making fun of me for that, because I'm not doing that now, doesn't change the fact that, like, the process to get there, when I go out and I run 3 miles at a 9-minute pace and it's not fast or whatever, like, so what? Like, yeah, that doesn't mean I'm not working to get there. You go to the gym to build a better person. You don't make fun of the person you were when you were there and look at that as your final form. And I just think people get so over the top about this stuff sometimes. And to me, like, this is what's exciting to me. What you just described is exciting to me. It's exciting to me to see people building things that onboard Web 2 easily. What's happening with Apple is exciting to me. And I think that's what moves this thing along and gets us going. So anyway, that's my rant take on that. as well. Other thing, I'm just going to pin to the top because I'm blatantly sharing my own post here. I did put out a GM post because I found out another person outside of crypto found out who I am. So I pinned to the top of the space. If you see that one, I'll share it on the screen too. The way that I'm feeling right now. There's a meme that I saw recently that I thought was appropriate for that one. So if your friends or family find your X account, this is me right here. My friends and family with normal lives, me and crypto doing whatever the hell I'm doing. This is how I'm feeling today when I find out that someone found my X account. Who is IRL, doing that. Another thing I wanted to share just as a cleanup piece before I go to you for cleanup and we close down. Everyone's been doing the 4 years ago I minted a Bored Ape post. This might be the ultimate flex, which is hilarious. 4 years ago, I minted this Bored Ape alongside 1,249 others from Pranksy. I then bought it back a year later for 333 ETH and then sold it again for 420.69 ETH. So just hilarious to like even toss out like I bought this along with 1,249 other Bored Apes. Just a flex right there because that's a huge number even at that mint price number. But I don't know, Cap. That said, any other cleanup?
Yeah, one parting thought. I just saw it on my timeline. I pinned it up top to the right of yours. Long, regular listener here, supporter, friend of the show, has a I'll share it on screen so you can see it. Has a stealth mint today on Ape Chain, and I will if I hit it, I will certainly be minting one. This is the stuff that gets me excited about this space. I don't like. I'm excited to see how it goes and curious about like long-term sustainability and how the whole model will work. But I showed up here on screen says NFTs can be accessed to clearly defined experiences. They can be things. They can be for things never done before. Still dropping a mint tomorrow on Ape Chain. You can join the Discord link below this post. It's pinned up top. Now, if you want to get access, now if you want to get an early access window, so what is it? It's 300 NFTs, 530 ape each, so $250, $300. And with it as NFT, you'll be able to watch a CPG food brand built, ID to launch in real time. Once the brand launches, each NFT will be able to redeem a physical card that provides access to free product monthly for life. Very special perk, and only 300 of these physical cards ever exist. Only for those who followed along the journey will have one, and or who buy an NFT on the secondary before the claim. Oh, and you can also burn the NFT for $250 before the claim. But I'm confident nobody will take this action. So to recap, watch a CPG food brand be built in real time from A to Z, conception to launch. See every detail that goes into building a CPG food brand. Join a small community for networking. Claim free product from the brand every month for life after it launches. And note, this will be a healthy, high-protein snack. I kid you not, I just got my delivery of my protein, my grass-fed whey protein this morning. Need to up my protein here on this 90-day sprint I'm on. The CPG brand will be only available for sale in the US. It will not ship outside the country. So yeah, fun little mint if you're into supporting startups, if you're into healthy protein snacks and would like, I don't know, connecting some dots, maybe some free protein bars for life. That mint is going live sometime today.
Very cool. Very cool. Love to see that. Good luck on that as well. And I do like me some high protein. I caught that too. Payne said, did you just call it whey protein? But yeah, no, I'm very I am excited about the most certainly excited about that for him, because I think a good high protein snack is important. Although I will say, whenever I switch my diet, my stomach just gets absolutely ripped apart, which sucks because it's used to the crap and it's not used to handling like real food. So that's been not fun the past few days. So I may disrupt the diet a little bit today. We shall see. But that said, Cap, anything else or any parting thoughts before we get out of here?
What's your protein bar of choice? I don't know if that was directed to me or you for Be Epic.
I don't have a protein bar of choice. I use just regular protein shakes when I use them, and that's kind of it. Yeah, same. I don't really have a go-to. I'm not brand loyal to any of them. There's some good ones out there, but I no sugar, and I'll eat about anything. I'm not very not really a picky eater. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not I'm not
boulders
a
are
big
good. Yeah, that would probably, boulders are good. Yeah, I just want the protein. I don't care what it tastes like. Just want the protein without sugar.
Yeah, I'm not a big like to me I'm very similar, and I'm also like the thing about me is I'm very willing to eat things that aren't like known as the most delicious.
Okay.
So I don't care. So like to me that part of it is to me that part of it is important. Is eating healthier versus like if I have to, I can eat chicken and veggies for like 10 straight days, or I can eat like, like you give me a healthy snack. That's how I got myself into trouble the other day. I was eating only healthy snacks and I overfibered myself and did a couple things. I had a protein shake when I was hungry because I didn't have anything healthy as another option. I like overdid it. But yeah.
We get Chris Bullet says Pro Bar is good but expensive. Crypto Doozy says very few good protein bars. Most use bad protein source. If it's not isolate, don't eat it. I don't even know what isolate is.
Yeah, I don't know the difference on proteins. I don't know the nuances. Maybe that'll be the next surging category. But yeah, we shall see.
Go watch the video this weekend with Theo Von if you haven't.
I haven't. I've heard some funny takes on it, so I want to watch Zuck and Theo Von. I did see a take where someone said Mark Zuckerberg said something about AI friends, and he's like, what do you want to bet that Mark Zuckerberg is testing AI friends on himself? And his AI friends told him everybody's going to be having AI friends.
And they told him that everyone has the capacity for 15, the demand of 15 friends. That guy's just weird. He actually said he doesn't drink coffee. And Theo's like you've had it though, right? And he's like, yeah, every once in a while I will, might be on vacation or something and I'll have some recreationally. Like I maybe have sampled some drugs recreationally in my lifetime, Steve, but I've never considered caffeine one that is one of a recreational variety.
Theo Von, I've listened to some Theo Von. First of all, I am going to say I'm a Theo Von hipster. If there were content coins for Theo Von, I would be rich right now because I've been following Theo Von since he was on Road Rules, number one. So Theo Von, I'm a fan of. He's really funny, but if you listen to his journey, he will tell you about his alcoholic journey, his drug journey, what it led to, the things that he did as a result of it, the way he grew up. And he is sober, but he's very disciplined about staying away from things that are negative because one leads to another for him. Like he's the type of guy who's like, if he has a drink, he's going to be doing hard drugs and he's going to be doing, things he shouldn't otherwise. So it's just like, he's very honest about it. So like, even with caffeine, he's like a recreational caffeine drinker. So good for him. There's a period of time.
Zuck was the recreational caffeine drinker. Theo at the time had
Zuck. Sorry.
Yeah, Zuck was the one that was talking about only drinking coffee recreationally. Theo actually, he had a Celsius in one hand and a coffee or a cold brew in the other.
So that must be his go-to then. So Theo must be like because you're like saying about like recreationally, I'm like, it sounds like a joke Theo would make based on the fact that he doesn't.
It's just weird, man. Like he's a one of one. Like he's just so awkward, I guess. Is and he's gotten better. It's just he's just a weird cat.
Yeah, it's there's some people who are just bizarre, and he's one of them.
Yeah.
And it's fine. That's what he also. I don't know. I don't want to go on my Zuck rant today. He doesn't get enough credit. Like he's never talked about in that class of people who are like the really influential, like billionaire type people. Number one, and number two, like how many people who had a startup like that when they were 18 or 19 or 20 are still the CEO, and it's a thriving, successful company that absolutely crushes. Like the answer is like pretty much zero, right? Like who's done it? Steve Jobs did it. Bezos, but he's now out there. He's not there anymore, right? He's not the CEO anymore. Like how many people are still leading a company like that? But like
the same one they started. Like I would say Elon is still, young entrepreneur that's still a CEO, but not the same one he started when he was 18.
Right. Like Zuck started a company, still CEO.
Another one. He's not as old, but Ben Francis from Gymshark. We were talking recently about requiring the UK financial. Like they've absolutely crushed it, and he is, kids. I think in his like mid 20s, maybe he might not even be 30 years old yet.
Yeah. So I think it's like a noteworthy. I don't know. It's noteworthy, but either way, long story short, I think that's a long story short, I think it's like he doesn't get enough credit for what he is. And yes, he is incredibly weird. But that's part of part of who he is. So I don't know. That said, Cap, I'm actually in the process of buying some some protein bars that Doomers recommended in the war room. Because I'm looking for clean protein bars for sure, because I need some clean snacks. So appreciate that. And guess what? It's going to deliver today between 5 and 10 p.m. because I'm on demand on that sort of thing. And I'm not going to complain about the Pony Express deliveries because I wasn't getting it as quick as Amazon because it helped us get here.
So fitting. I did not know this. I kid you not, though. 30 seconds ago, it just hit my inbox. Someone texted to me. Tesla, regarding Elon in his time as a CEO, he's now the longest serving CEO of any American car company ever.
So Elon and Tesla, there you go.
Pretty impressive. I mean, you think about the Henry Fords, the I don't know, the Lee Iacocca's. Like, there's been a lot of major business leaders in the U.S. that have been CEOs of car companies for long periods of time. And yeah, I did not know that. I would have not guessed that, actually.
And I also didn't have a Lee Iacocca reference on my bingo card this morning. So here we are. Look, that said, let's let everyone sail off another day. It's Friday. People got places to be. They got things to do. They got people to see. So let's let everyone off in their day. I'm going to go buy my protein shakes and get ready to go on the road, or buy my protein bars. Thank you, Doomers, by the way. I don't know if Doomers is still listening, but shout out to Doomers in the war room, because I've been looking for a clean protein bar. I was going to talk to ChatGPT about it. I need snacks is what I need. And now this gives me more snacks so that I don't eat too much fiber and feel like I got kicked in the stomach by a horse. Thanks everyone who came through this morning. We will talk to everybody bright and early Monday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, everybody.
I need to work on the wave. I feel awkward every time waving with my left hand.
I don't know. I think I used to think the wave is not bad, but now that you say so, I'm going to be judging you heavily. I don't know. I just always do the peace sign.
It's the only time in my life I ever wave with my left hand, and it feels very awkward.
Well, let me ask you this question. Honest question.
My right hand is going up to hit end stream, so I'm like, as you're closing, I'm waving and ending stream with my other hand at the same time. It just feels awkward.
What are your thoughts? I mean, does it seem natural?
What the hell is this?
Does it seem natural when I'm like I don't know. Does that not seem natural?
I'm so self-conscious about how I'm waving to send everyone off. So I don't even look at you.
Cap doesn't know how to use his hand or how to do like a wave. It's like, all right, see everybody.
Thanks for tuning into Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin. We hope you enjoyed the show, and remember, nothing we discussed today is financial advice. Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious, and we'll see you soon. Have a great day.
Welcome to the future.